Alrighty, hello and welcome everybody to something quite a bit different, pretty special. I'm quite excited for this. Hopefully all you guys are as well. Just going to move my chat over to a better place where I can see it. I'll put it. No, haven't decided, but wanted to get this started. As you can tell from the title, this is the hunt for Castle Garenbrig, right there. Oh, this is the absolute most amazing new addition that I've had to Dinosaurs and possibly ever. The best land, I think, at this point that I've added to the deck. Goreclaw we'll move the bear out of the way for now. We're talking about this thing right here. But yeah, I could swear back when Throne of Eldraine was released, I got a couple copies of this, and we're going to be searching for it. We're going to be seeing a lot of other cool stuff that I've gotten before this, since then. It's going to be quite exciting indeed. Oh my goodness, I'm loving this card. It proves itself. It continues to prove itself to help power out Carnage Tyrant, Tyrannix Rex, whatever big, and got to keep in mind that you can use it to activate abilities of creatures as well. Usually that's just going to be shifting Ceratops, giving it haste, trample, reach, that sort of thing. But consider we ramp with Thunderherd Migration, something that grabs a basic land before Castle Garenbrig. Possibly, we're at 5 lands on turn 4, including this. Boom. We've got Carnage Tyrant. Turn 4, nice, stably. It's a lot harder to interact with the land. Of course, there could be Field of Ruin, Demolition Zone, Demolition Field, I believe it is, the new one from Brothers War that we have to watch out for. I don't think it's going to take too long to find this, if I have any copies at all. But I said we start off with Goreclaw. Got a couple copies recently. Actually, 4 playset? No, I think it's just 3 of them. But he has done the trick. Lovely potential, because there are a lot of dinos with a power 4 or greater, so he or she, I guess Goreclaw is a she. She reduces the cost of them by quite a bit easily, helping to cast Carnage Tyrant, Tyrannix Rex, any of those other big dinos. Now we don't get the benefit from Goreclaw right away, unless we could give it haste, but if it does survive, that's going to be pretty impactful, putting trample on things that don't already have trample, +1/+1, and that, as long as they have power 4 or greater, that's going to be quite a few of the bodies. Likely it's going to be Marauding Raptor. You only have to ping 1 dino for Marauding Raptor to temporarily get the 4 power, make it a 5/4 trample. Could be a 7/4. Easily it could be quite nasty. Oftentimes Marauding Raptor does get chump blocked, so Goreclaw right here, being able to punch through lots of little chump blockers, possibly leading to the win. Oh, I'm loving this, and I'm loving that frame. I'm pretty sure Goreclaw might have been printed. It was originally an M19, and I think that's when they first introduced this legendary frame border. I think it's pretty sweet. Setting apart some pretty impactful cards. Goreclaw, though, because it is cost reduction, you got to keep in mind it does have an immediate impact. But let's move on. Oh yes, I just recently got these. I have to sleeve them up. You've seen me use it before. Treasure Map, Treasure Cove. Actually, I could play with the white balance, I guess. But it's there. It's there. Yeah, I'm loving Treasure Map. I continue to love this too. Pay 1, tap it to scry, and put a landmark counter on, so increase the consistency nicely. And eventually we get those treasure tokens when we get the 3rd landmark counter, and Treasure Map flips to Treasure Cove. Tap it to add a colorless, or tap, sacrifice a treasure, draw a card, so we get even more advantage that way. But because Treasure Cove is a land, it is helping Topiary Stomper, which somewhere in here. Yes. Topiary Stomper does kind of synergize with that a little bit, caring about having 7 or more lands on the battlefield. So you're naturally ramping, you're getting more lands, likely you're able to get to 7 quite easily and start using Topiary Stomper, not just for the stable ramp of searching for a basic land, putting it onto the battlefield. That's lovely. And this is lovely. Yeah. Oh, and that art. The art on Topiary Stomper, I must say. I was thinking of getting it in foil. I imagine that glowing foil treatment would be quite lovely on this, especially the steam coming off its... Well, it's hard to say what's a nostril and what's not, just because it is a plant. Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. But I know definitely it's not in here, that's for sure. But I'll show you guys all the recent stuff, the most recent stuff. Tamer Battle Rage, of course, is lovely, lovely. Haven't used it in a little bit, but it's got fantastic potential. And I must showcase the extended art for Tamer Battle Rage. The only way to get it is with Commander Legends, I believe it is. Yeah, even though it's an instant, it doesn't stay on the battlefield long whatsoever. I just love this card. Galta, of course, would be fantastic to slap that on. Make Galta a 12/12 double strike. Very, very scary stuff right there. Or, of course, Marauding Raptor. Pretty easy to get that to 4 power, maybe at 6, but being able to punch through, trade with Shieldred, anything like that, as long as your Dino has 5 power, perhaps Shieldred is looking to block and take it out. But because we have double strike, and if the opposing blocking creature has death touch, it doesn't matter. We deal our damage first as long as we can kill them before they deal damage to you. Boom. You don't have to worry. You live through that. And just putting Trample is like the icing on the cake. The perfect package, I must say. And a little bit easier to cast than Embercleave. +1/+1, double strike and trample. That fantastic legendary artifact, which we'll probably see Embercleave at some point here. But once I realized there was the extended art potentially for this, I had to search, and it took me quite some time to find copies of that. I'm sure it would be lovely in foil too, the claws and all that, but I'll keep it everything non-foil as much as possible, unless of course it is a dino, which there will probably be some shiny dinos coming up pretty soon. All right, you saw the Topiary, Asrak. I still don't know how to pronounce this guy, but yes, this card paired with Gwenna, 2 and a black, 5/5. Where is he? When Asrak the Archlich enters the battlefield, if you haven't completed Tomb of Annihilation, return them to your hand, venture into the dungeon. So you just choose a tomb that isn't that tomb, or a dungeon that isn't that tomb. Yeah. And then you keep bound to fantastic combo. Then Marauding Raptor, reducing this to 2. Gwenna taps for 2. So those 3 cards means you get to go infinite with the Archlich. Eventually, you complete some of the dungeons, you make some treasure tokens, you draw a couple cards, that sort of thing. Eventually you have enough to play big impactful things after you've done a few cycles of a dungeon that, well, isn't Tomb of Annihilation. But I haven't done this combo in a little bit. It's kind of iffy. You want to see it as much as possible. Having, maybe 4 Asrak, 4 Gwenna, 4 Marauding Raptor, definitely. But seeing multiple Gwennas was kind of painful. When I was doing this combo on Arena, it is, almost usually a win on the spot. Guess I could probably turn off Castle Garenbrig now that I think about it. Oh, okay. I'll leave Castle Garenbrig there. Just so, you guys see exactly what the card it is I'm searching for. But, just the extended art on this guy alone. I thought that was cool. And then Gwenna, of course, she was pretty cheap, but that was a pretty penny. But of course, because, you know, if and when I do go back to that combo, I want to see it as consistently as possible, and that art is, oh, it's just beautiful. Something about it, again, the foiling, I can imagine, would be pretty slick, especially with that ghostly, glowing skull right there. Lovely, lovely stuff. Let's get Gwen out of the way. What is below that? Oh, nope, I gotta put Gwen back. Eventually. Topiary Stomper, get to the bottom there, buddy. Okay, next up, Calamity's Wake. Man, it's no special treatment art or anything like that, but if and when I do go Naya, red, green, and white, I've considered this card. It can shut down a couple things. Somewhat versatile, but instant speed, exile all graveyards. Of course, if there is something that is looking to reanimate a big, nasty creature, Atraxa, unifier of, whatchamacallit, the big, scary Phyrexian Angel that was just released. This, boom. During their untap step, upkeep, maybe before their draw, but just having them basically not be able to do anything. They can cast creatures, but probably a deck that is looking to reanimate something. There's a good chance that it's attached to something that isn't a creature. So you do likely buy yourself some time stopping players from casting non-creature spells that turn. It could likely buy you a full another turn. It's almost as if it completely shuts down certain decks. It's like you pay 1 and a white, you get an extra turn after this turn. Effectively, in a sense. My goodness. I mean, the opponent does get to draw, but that's not too bad if they can't cast anything. So I think it would be a pretty good sideboard card. Maybe start off with this. It could stop Mono Green Devotion a little bit. You wouldn't allow them to play Karn, Storm the Festival. Chances are they could play multiple Storm the Festivals. That's not going to happen because Storm the Festival is a non-creature spell, but just also exiling all graveyards. So I think that's a lovely little package right there. It's going to bring the pain to, well, enough. I haven't tried it yet, but that's on the agenda. Coming up, Fauna Shaman. My goodness, this was a pretty expensive creature before it was reprinted just recently in Brothers War. Well, had to pick it up. Whether or not I use it a lot in the future, that's the question, but 1 in a green, pay green, discard a creature card, search your library for a creature, put it into your hand. Lovely stuff. This would allow us to make use of Otepic Huntmaster when we have a Marauding Raptor out. Of course, the 2 damage, going to ping Huntmaster. Ugh, that's going to be painful. Usually Huntmaster just sits in our hand. It doesn't happen all that often, but often enough that it would be nice to turn something less impactful like that, maybe a smaller dino, into Carnage Tyrant, Tyrannix Rex, and because this is an ability, of course, Castle Garenbrig, that right there, we get to use all that 6 mana to do this, cast something that we draw, maybe use some treasures from Treasure Cove after those are made. It's going to be a nice combination. I only think I have 1 of these on Arena. Unfortunately, it does take time to redeem things that are rare, but luckily that was pretty cheap in paper. Giant Cindermaw, well, you know him, you love him. The new Dino edition to stop players gaining life, trample. 4 power, synergizing with Garruk's Uprising and things that care about that. Move on. Oh, no, there's Gwenna. Oh, a nice Chandra, Awakened Inferno. Picked this up at my local game store. It was pretty cheap. They only had 1 copy of it, and the price was right, so I felt it was right to at least get 1 of these. I don't use it all the time, but of course it is nice against control. Can't be countered. Nice to -3 and deal 3 damage to each non-elemental creature. Of course, the +2 to stack the emblems and chip away at the opponent. Lovely having, you know, at least one copy. If you're in red, if you can support this quite nicely. Of course, Castle Garenbrig is not going to help us play this, but with lots of stable ramp, usually with the list I'm playing right now, it's pretty easy to get to 6. So I think I might add this back in. Oh man, it's lovely. That would be good in foil as well. My goodness. And of course, the Carplucin Forests, lovely, lovely new addition. I was thinking of getting the regular bordered, but yeah, this was fantastic extended art. I think I might have one of these from Ice Age, I believe it is, when it was first released. Wow. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. I don't use too many in my lists at the moment, just one, maybe 2 copies, but I'm sure in the future there will probably be something where I'll want all 4 of these, and it's going to be a joy to drop this anytime I do. Oh, almost done that mini package. Oh, we got nope. There was a Topiary Stomper hiding behind a big, scary Ronus. God Eternal Ronus. Move those Carplucin Forests out of the way. My goodness, I should just be stacking them up. Do have to organize them as well, but this is the hunt, and a little bit of explanation on at least some of my thinking, why I got these. If I use them, but I have them. God Eternal Ronus, used it a little bit in the past. Death Touch, lovely. 5/5, pretty good, but when it enters the battlefield, double the power of each other creature you control. Until end of turn, those creatures also gain vigilance. So it's nice, you don't leave yourself too open. You make everything even nastier. I think this would be a nice addition. 2 copies, 1 copy. Built up the board with some Carnage Tyrants, Tyrannix Rexes. They are already scary, but making Carnage Tyrant 14 power, Tyrannix Rex 16, swinging in with that. Ooh, that's not a pretty sight. This guy might just do the trick. Easy enough to play, of course. We'd have 1 green left over with Castle Garenbrig there. Maybe be able to, I don't know, flip treasure map, something like that. But very easy, very scary. One more mini package here. Teachings of the Kirin. Oh, Temple of Abandon, which I have been using to great effect as well. Looks a little bit funny. Now that the printing seems a little bit off on that one, but yeah, Teachings of the Kirin. Well, I probably won't be using it in a dinosaur list, but you mill 3 cards, create a 1/1 colorless spirit creature token. Marauding Raptor would kill that. The second one, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. Yeah, that's okay. And of course, the third, you exile it, return it to the battlefield tapped. Mostly, this is for Snake Tribal. If and when I go back to that, Kirin Touched Orochi is a snake monk and allows you to exile a creature card from a graveyard. When you do, you make a spirit, or you can exile a non-creature to put a counter on this guy. But Marauding Raptor does take it out. It's nice to have some repeatable exile effects, that sort of thing. Hey, howdy Pterosaurus, how's it going? Hopefully all is well. I kind of had moved my phone off to the side so the chat wasn't quite, it's right here, quite in my line of view. But yes, just explaining about this Kirin Touched Orochi, repeatable graveyard exile, lovely stuff. Although we do have Death Gorge Scavenger, you got to keep in mind 2 and a green when it enters the battlefield, exile a card from a graveyard, and whenever it attacks, you do that as well. It is nicer because Death Gorge Scavenger entering with 2 toughness, as long as you can exile a non-creature, gets Death Gorge to 3 toughness, survives the 2 damage from marauding, compared to this as just going to die when it flips and re-enters. But I still think it has potential. If snakes are released on Arena, that'd be pretty nice. Maybe I play them on Magic Online, just because it was my first real deck It was a tribal deck way back in Kamigawa. For some of you guys that know or don't know, that was the bee's knees. I love that deck. Oh, what's under? Oh, yes, oh, definitely. Speaking of Snake Tribal, we've got to talk about Sashiro. I think this is my 5th copy. I'm pretty sure I have 5 or 6 copies. I've lost track because this is the snake of all snakes. I actually forgot that was in this, but this little symbol right here in the bottom left corner, that means it's from the list. Set boosters. With each release, they update the list. They take a card off and on, that sort of thing. And it is nice to potentially be able to get a very old card reprinted. So, of course, you get nice quality. You know it's probably going to be good quality because it was just printed. Definitely a lot newer than from the original Champions of Kamigawa. That's like, what, 15 years ago when we first visited that plane. But my goodness, snakes, other snakes you control get +2/+2. Lovely double anthem effect. Hopefully, you know, maybe we get a dinosaur that gives other dinosaurs you control +2/+2. Maybe that would be a little bit overpowered. I definitely would be pretty happy to pay 6. I probably wouldn't want to pay 7 for a dinosaur lord, and I would hope it's not legendary. But you do get some nice card advantage. Perhaps there's some new dinosaur lord that gets released where whenever a dinosaur you control deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. So it's pretty nice. It does have that clause in there. Sometimes it might just say you draw a card. That would be pretty painful against Shieldred. That could kill you if you hit them with enough dinosaurs, or if you didn't get to choose. It's always nice to at least have the choice. Yeah, that would be a pretty sweet package for a dinosaur lord. I imagine it would probably cost 5 and be a legendary. Just because Kamigawa, a block as a whole, was very, very underpowered. I mean, this guy was pretty sweet, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's hard to be more underpowered than this whole block. Definitely. Man, that card is nice. Oh my goodness. Oh, you know, Temple of Abandon, you did see this. Oh, I have to tell you guys about a match I had just today against Demir Controls. I forget who mentioned it last night. Azorius Control, Demir Control, as you likely know, feels like one of my most favored matchups. But Demir Control, of course, being part black, has those sacrifice effects, a little bit more removal, painful removal for those big scary dinos. I beat Demir Control in 2. And game 1, I'm on the play. I have 1 land, which is Temple of Abandon, Thunderherd Migration, and Treasure Map, plus a bunch of other stuff. So 2 things that cost 2 and 1 land. I kept my opening hand that included just this. Played it, turn 1. I saw a land was coming up, boom, done. It's pretty crazy. Keeping a 1 land hand, Temple of Abandon, kind of acting as if you were on the draw. You get to scry 1, maybe put that card to the bottom, increase the chances of seeing that second land, and you're off to the races. Whether you ramp stably with Thunderherd, maybe you play Marauding, Hunt Master, Treasure Map, you got a whole bunch of options in this thing. Ooh, lovely, lovely stuff. Late game as well. And it's dirt cheap, so you know, pick yourself up a couple copies, and because of that scry 1, if it's the first land you play, that could lead to some greedier keeps. I don't like the term greedy. I don't know, it doesn't feel quite right. Some more wishful keeps, if this is the only land you have. I think it's probably like 50 cents, $1, perhaps, something like that. But I got a whole bunch more cards. I'll leave my 2 copies of Mutavaults. I think I got a playset somewhere. I'll probably have to put them all together at some point. But this thing, it's all creature types, so of course synergizing with, well, it is a dino and everything else, lovely. I don't use it too much on Arena, but I had to pick up some copies at some point just to have them. because it is so fantastic. But leave that right there. I got a bunch of, well, I'll probably take the camera off at some point. Oh yes, definitely. You see these quite a bit on Arena. They are pretty expensive in paper, so again, if there's a absolutely fantastic card that can be used in multiple decks, like Mutavault, one of the best manlands ever created. Perhaps it's the best manland, that's hard to say. But because this card can be used in any deck, players can safely craft it and slap it in whatever. It is not bad to ever craft this. Lovely stuff. In a pinch, you know, you have some bodies that can attack in after a board wipe, that sort of thing. Quite useful. Of course, they could Fatal Push Mutavault. That would be a very sad time indeed, but otherwise, lovely. All right, the first stack of dinos. I'm pretty sure I showed you guys this on the other stream, the first stream I did, showing off my collection, but I have a sneaky suspicion Castle Garenbrig is going to be, well, maybe not in this pile, but no. We'll show off stuff again. We got the Cacophodon, however you pronounce that. I don't really know. But in Rage, whenever Cacophodon is dealt damage, untap a permanent. You know, you have a damage-based sweeper. Likely, it's not going to be killing this guy, just because it does have 5 toughness. So, in a sense, you use Flame Sweep, Crush the Weak, you know, 2 damage each creature. You reduce the cost of that sweeper by 1. Which is pretty cool, because you could use this ability to untap a land that you tapped to cast that thing. Yeah, maybe that's going to be nice. Perhaps you untap Castle Garenbrig right there. That might be sweet, if you have enough extra mana. You can't use the mana that Castle Garenbrig makes to tap Castle Garenbrig again, and it can only be used again for just creatures and abilities of creatures. I guess if you made Castle Garenbrig a creature itself, that could be a thing, but yeah, you'd have to have another 4 mana, tap it again. Maybe there's something there, but this, I think, does have potential. Well, Verdant Sun's Avatar, and actually I should probably just put the stuff over there, underneath Castle Garenbrig. Let's hide the things. But yeah, Verdant Sun's Avatar is it's pretty costly. 7 in total for a 5/5. When it or another creature enters the battlefield, gain life equal to that creature's toughness. You get multiples of these, you're going to gain double life per toughness. Probably a little bit slow, costing 7. Unfortunately, haven't used it a whole lot, but if you get this thing down against certain decks, if they haven't killed you already, I mean, you could just probably kill them with something else if you've lasted long enough to do this. But of course it would stabilize quite nicely. Galta, maybe for 2, gain 12 life. That's gonna make some opponents. Mono red definitely is gonna shed some tears when you drop that thing. Oh yes, definitely gotta showcase the Trapjaw Tyrants right underneath. Lovely potential, as some of you have seen. The entrance animation and the exile animation on Arena, the best. I think that might be the best. Exiling all those creatures when you use its ability. Whenever it's dealt damage, doesn't matter how big the creature is, you exile it temporarily. Of course, you want some protection with Trapjaw Tyrant, because likely this is going to be public enemy number 1, especially if it's exiled multiple creatures. Oh my goodness. A cheeky deck that uses Verdant Sun's Avatar. Oh, yeah. I imagine that would be pretty cheeky indeed. I just love stuff that gets better the more copies you have. It's not redundant after you play the second copy. It's just snowballs. Of course, you couldn't use Giant Cindermaw or Rampaging Froststone. That's really going to, well, make this 7 for a 5/5 do nothing. So keep that in mind. Make sure you cut those dinos that stop your life gain. But yes, I definitely imagine there would be some cheeky things that you could do with Verdant Sun's avatar. Something I'm going to explore eventually. Of course, Castle Garenbrig ramping quite nicely would allow for this thing. But keep in mind, and I don't have any copies of it yet, Tyrannix Rex costs the same total mana value. You need one more green, which is, it's not a problem when you make 6 with that thing. I'd rather play Tyrannix Rex than Verdant Sun's avatar. You got to figure that thing is infinitely better in pretty much any case, but I will definitely explore that thing again at some point. I don't have any foils of this, but I know the foiling on Trapjaw Tyrant with the sun and the colorful feathers, that would be beautiful. Probably would be pretty costly, just because I think it's only been printed twice. Once in the promo pack for Core 2020, then of course in the original Rivals of Ixalan. Beautiful. Plus, hey, you just never know what you're going to get. Yeah, that's it. I've got a hodgepodge of cards, some dinos, some non-dinos. I opened a Yavi Maya Cradle of Growth from the recent Modern Horizons 2. Whether I play Modern with dinos, that's another question. Of course, it's a very high-powered format. I'll try it, at some point. Probably won't do too well. But that's a pretty cool card. A land that makes each land a forest in addition to its other land types. You probably want to make some synergy with stuff that cared about forests. But it was just cool to open it. It was pretty expensive at the time I opened it. It's still probably pretty decent just because you can do some cheeky shenanigans with this. Similar to Verdant Sun's avatar, but definitely put that thing in a top loader. It's not foil, but the art is just stunning and lovely. Oh, and this. It's not the new sword. It's not the red and green sword. We've got the 4 Sword of Hearth and Home. I'm trying to make the focus as good as possible, but just in case you guys can't read it, I think it's a little bit fuzzy. Actually, I'll take one copy for myself so I can actually read it. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has protection from green and white. Yeah, it's kind of nice. That's going to help us get through some damage against mono green devotion if that's, a thing in Modern, of course. But I just love the art on this version of Sword of Hearth and Home. Beautiful, beautiful potential right there. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, though, exile 1 creature you own. So there is a bunch of dinos with enter the battlefield effects. Of course, we could exile, some big creature, synergize with Hearth and Home, get a bunch of life, and potentially that dino also has a nice enter the battlefield effect, do some nice super value blinking with this card. That would actually be pretty cool indeed. But yeah, you blink something and you search your library for a basic land, so you're ramping, and if it's Topiary Stomper, you're double ramping because you're getting 2 lands from that particular scenario. Yeah, I just like it. I would have probably saved my money and bought the new Sword of Forge and Fire, the red-green one. Oh, but this art, oh boy, that would be beautiful in foil. But if and when I go to Modern, I'm going to be trying that thing out big time. Underneath that, of course, Deathgorge Scavenger, not my German ones. I actually forget what it is in German, but it is very, very amusing. I do remember that. We might be able to see my German Deathgorge Scavenger, and then, of course, live, you'll get to see me butcher the pronunciation. But like I mentioned before, Deathgorge, nice having some repeatable graveyard effects. Actually, it's right here while we're at it. Boom. 2 things that do a little bit of pain to graveyards. I'm not too worried about graveyards in general, but yeah, lovely. What's after Death Gorge? Nobody knows. Needletooth Raptor. Yeah, haven't used it a lot, but you can imagine if it's reduced by Marauding Raptor, Otepic Hunt Master, casting this thing for 2, Marauding, of course, pinging Needletooth Raptor, killing it, but it was dealt damage, so potentially for 1 in a red, you get to deal 5 damage to target creature an opponent controls. Pretty decent. Of course, that 5 damage is lining up nicely. Misty, how's it going? How's it going? Planning. Actually, I forgot to mention at the start of this to play a little bit of Arena, but the search is on for Castle Garenbrig. Well, right there. As you can see, hopefully you're doing well. I was just looking forward to another card stream, and well, I had to search for Castle Garenbrig anyways. I thought this would be a nice thing to do for everybody. You get to see stuff that isn't just dinos. You get to see my thought process behind why I bought it and why I might eventually use it, hopefully. Sometimes it's the case you don't use what you buy, but I've got it. It's lovely. Well, Needletooth Raptor. Not the most lovely thing in the world, but we'll get to some nice lovely stuff. Let me see. Oh, no, Castle Garenbrig. We got the Nezahul Primal Tides, of course. It's not in the updated legendary frame. Of course, this was Rivals of Ixalan, released before they had started doing legendary frames. But there is a couple printings now of Nezahul Primal Tide if you are looking for that legendary frame treatments. You can compare it with Goreclaw here. It's pretty sweet. I think I might have got a copy with that treatment, but I do have my 4 copies of this, so I don't really need any more, even though it does look pretty darn sweet. Yeah. Get the Goreclaw back. Oh, let's see. I have a sneaky suspicion it's going to be in here somewhere. Oh, the foil. Savage Stomp, you gotta love it. Oh, that never gets old. Like I was saying, you can see, again, the beautiful foiling and shininess of the feathered dinos and other feathered creatures from the Ixalan block. Oh, yeah, definitely. You guys probably saw my Otepic Hunt Masters foil the previous time, but I gotta show people again because it is just beautiful. Look at that. Man. That never gets old. My goodness. Tillinally's Crown as well. I gotta show that off each time. Haven't used it a whole lot, but when it enters, it deals 1 damage to enchanted creatures, so of course that could trigger Enrage. Actually, I'll get that down right there. See it a little bit better. Triggering Enrage with that 1 damage, lovely stuff, but enchanted creature gets +3/+0 and trample. That's a pretty big boost. It is, pretty decent maybe for free dinos. Just starting off, it is a common, so in Arena, easy to get the playset of this, make something an instant threat, and potentially get a little bit of extra value with that pinging. Beautiful. Beautiful. A no-brainer. That's what I say. Then maybe moving on to something a little bit more impactful later on. But it should do the trick, being able to punch through and make something big. Oh, the Fire Whip. Yeah, I got to show that again for anybody that didn't see it the first time. Oh, stunning. 1 in a red. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature can tap to deal 1 damage to any target. They changed the wording on that. Even though it says creature or player, this card was released before Planeswalkers existed. So that was errated to actually say any target. Then you can sacrifice it to deal another damage to any target. You do 1, you do another. For 1 in a red, you could draw 2 basic lands if you ping Ranging Raptors twice. It's very nice to split up this damage, or you could just keep it on the creature and continually ping, ping, ping. Get some draw with Ripjaw, ranging, whatever dino it is. Hopefully they re-release this or something similar to it, because I've always loved the fantastic Enrage potential. That's done that stack. No Castle Garenbrig, unfortunately. We'll get there. We'll get there. Next stack coming up, though. Oh, this is a good one. This is a good one. The first one, starting off, the growing rates of Itlamok. But this is a special one because it's the treasure chest promo Itlamok, Cradle of the Sun. The alternate art on the back. Would be kind of nice if they had alternate art on the front. But oh, the shininess, beautiful. I have some just normal copies of that. I don't use it a whole lot in dinos. Of course, I think it is a little bit better suited to something like elves that really has a lot of creatures, easily able to meet the requirement of having 4 creatures, flipping it, tapping to add a green for each creature you control. Definitely feels better suited to elves. But, you know, some dino lists, a lot of cheaper creatures could make use of this pretty good. I just love that art on the back there. But we're coming up to Castle Garenbrig, I swear. Oh, a single copy of Overwhelming Stampede. That was a surprise. I did not even know that was in there. But you can imagine an Overwhelming Stampede of dinos, 3 in a green, sorcery, until end of turn. Creatures you control gain trample and +X/+X, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. Of course, naturally, that lines up with Galta being a 12/12 for 5. Creatures you can control get trample and +12/+12. If that doesn't do the trick, I don't know what is. I think this is legal in Pioneer. Pretty sure it was last printed in M14, which is legal in that format. I'll have to check that out. This was from one of the original Commander sets, I believe. That's what that symbol is there. But yeah, when I saw Galta, I looked for stuff that can make use of greatest power. Came upon this pretty quickly, so hopefully I get to use that at some point. Very impactful stuff. Yeah, we're seeing some Savage Stomps, Grook Uprising, of course. Lovely card draw with that. I will go back to it, definitely on Arena and in paper likely, because lots of dinos do have 4 power or greater, getting us to draw a card whenever that creature or a creature meeting that requirement enters the battlefield. Gives our creatures trample. The more Grook's Uprisings, the better, because we're going to be drawing cards, multiple cards per Grook's Uprising whenever a creature meets the requirement of 4 or greater. You can really pop off with this. I didn't feel it was quite as necessary. Definitely doesn't feel quite as necessary for me at the moment. But it is lovely stuff, especially for dinos. And under Grooks, I have no idea. Time of Need. Man, again, from the original Kamigawa block. Of course, Galta. Pay 1 in a green. Search your library for a legendary creature. That could pretty much read, search your library for a Galta. Put it into your hand. Lovely, lovely. Your favorite card. Oh, your favorite card, really? Dinos in Pioneer? Yes, definitely. Definitely I am setting up for dinosaurs in Pioneer. Partly why I want to find my copies of Castle Garenbrig right there. We're going to find it. Stick with me, folks. I'm 90% sure I've got at least a few copies of that. Oh, so many of your decks. Yes, definitely. Time of Need. I mean, you can imagine you might have 2 copies of Galta, maybe a copy or 2 of this. You see this, you see the Queen, maybe you have 1 copy in hand. You want to see the second copy to cast after you try to cast the first copy of Galta. Yeah. Hopefully they reprint this. I would have liked to see them reprint this when we just recently visited Kamigawa again. That'd be pretty cool, but there is potential shenanigans with this card, especially paying 1 in a green, 2 in total. That's pretty cheap to look for maybe your finisher. Any legendary creature. Lovely, lovely. Okay, few decks. Pioneer. Is it Control? Oh, is it Control? Definitely very scary. Of course, they have lots of red burn spells, damaging spells, I imagine, taking out Marauding Raptor and Otepic Huntmaster quite easily, sadly, unfortunately. But I'm not super scared of Izzet control, just because there is Shifting Ceratops. But speaking of killing creatures, if you try to kill a creature, better watch out for your T-Rex and Carnage Tyrant. Yes, yes indeed. Oh, it would. I mean, 4 Shifting Ceratops, 4 Carnage Tyrant, 4 Tyrannix Rex. That is 12 things that can't be countered. Pretty hard chance to target all those, plus the haste. Yes, you got to keep in mind the haste from Huntmaster and Regisaur Alpha. It's a very nasty, explosive, aggressive mix of stuff. You got to have the right package to shut them down, and sometimes it just doesn't happen. It's a very interesting matchup for sure. Haste is what makes the deck lethal. Yes, you said it. 100%. Maybe, the haste is redundant. Of course, you have Regisaur Alpha out. You don't need the haste from Huntmaster, but Huntmaster could accelerate out that Shifting Ceratops. But again, moving on to Momentous Fall, it's not legal in Pioneer, I'm pretty sure, and I got, I think, most of my copies from Rise of the Eldrazi when I did some rare redrafts way back when Rise of the Eldrazi was released. My goodness, that took quite a bit. So, yeah, playing your Izzet control, you try to maybe remove one of my creatures. If I had Momentous Fall in the deck, I respond to that removal with this because it's instant speed. Sacrifice the creature you were targeting, and then boom, I draw cards equal to the sacrificed creature's power. I gain life equal to its toughness. That would just be nasty. You would be down a piece of removal. I would be up 7 cards, maybe 6 life. Perhaps I sacrifice a Tyrannix Rex. You're able to pay the ward 4 to target it. Boom. Draw 8, gain 8. That would be a very, very scary thing indeed. The Gruul Land Stomp. Oh, yes. You are going to see the original art Stomping Ground at some point here. We'll get to that. From the original time that we visited Ravnica. Oh, I just had to have it. I had one copy of it a while ago, but yes, original art Stomping Ground. Lightly played. I believe they all are, just because it is so old. But moving on down the line from that Momentous Fall, the potential is very momentous. Preferred playstyle, I would say it might be green with snakes. If you go back to the original Kamigawa, the Orochi snake tribal, that is what I started with. But definitely I'd say now with dinos, red and green, possibly green and blue, because snakes kind of lean into the blue color a little bit. But again, you have to go back quite a ways to play it. Really only legal in modern, unfortunately. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe we'll get to go back to Kamigawa. Life's Legacy underneath the Momentous Fall there. I've always thought this was quite interesting. And it is legal in Pioneer because it was released in M15. Life's Legacy has an additional cost. Sacrifice a creature, draw cards equal to the sacrificed creature's power. So that actually is very similar to Momentous Fall. Move that up. Maybe I'll move it up here. Something like that. So it's like 1/2 of Momentous Fall. I didn't even plan this, I swear, having this back to back to this. But, well, it's not instant speed, sadly. But just making use of some creature. Perhaps they did a pacification. You can't attack or block with it. You can sacrifice it. But just having a ton of draw, potentially, maybe, you have a couple copies of Galta. You sacrifice the copy of Galta that you have, draw a bunch of cards. Maybe that draws you another copy, but hopefully you have a second copy in hand. You replay it. Boom. Lovely stuff for dirt cheap. Drawing a bunch of stuff. That is where it's at. Love to see me play it in LGS. I would love to do that. I think it is feasible to stream. I mean, I'm doing it right now. Of course, I have a fiber connection, so it keeps things going nice and smooth, but I would have to test things out. I think it would be doable. I have actually my camera nicely secured with a sort of tripod thing at the moment. Definitely loving this setup so far. Seems to be working out, even though, I mean, the cards are a little bit blurry, but that's okay. You get the idea, you know what the card is. If you want to look it up later on, of course, it's there, but I would try it out. I'm going to try it out. Oh, no. Not at the LGS this very moment. I'm just in my room. I would turn the camera just so you could see me, and I'll show things off, but I don't want to knock it down. But yeah, just where I normally stream. This is on my desk. You guys never really see this, which is kind of cool. It's a bit behind the scenes. Definitely. Oh, I'm pumped to take down Azorius Control. Whatever I do win against in paper, it's a different feeling for sure from Arena. But it's just going to be nice seeing dinos excel on both sides of it. In real life, on the screen. Lovely. But we got a lot more to go through, hopefully. Castle Garenbrig is coming up. Ulvenwald Tracker. Yeah, I've thought about this card a little bit. Oh, I'm quite excited. Yes, I've locked up, you know, Azorius Control and pretty much Dimir Control. I am very confident with that. Perhaps tweaking some other stuff, but overall aggressive, nasty, hard to deal with. And I would like to use this guy. Man, he's scary. Of course, Marauding Raptor is going to kill it, but the Ulvenwald Tracker, you can pay 2. Target creature you control fights another target creature. So speaking of potential for a dinosaur deck, imagine you have 2 Ripjaw Raptors out. You use Ulvenwald Tracker to make 1 Ripjaw fight the other Ripjaw. Possibly at the end of the opponent's turn, you can activate this at instant speed. So for 1 and a green, you make them fight each other. Boom. You just drew 2 cards. It's not the best use of this, but it is an alternate use. Repeatable fighting at instant speed. Oh boy. You remember using this card. Hey, good stuff. Good stuff. Of course, I look for anything that could repeatedly fight just to get a bit of extra value from the enraged dinos when I really got into them when they were first released many years ago. This guy's cheap. We'll see. We'll see if I use him. Potentially. Use it in Modern. Oh, okay. Yeah, I love it. It does the trick. Oh, actually, Savage Summoning. Speaking of counter spells, is it control? Is it spells? Whatever it is. I mean, I don't really think I need this. Just because if 12 of my creatures can't be countered already, this might be overkill. But it could allow Regis or Alpha to get down. 1 green, instant speed. Savage Summoning can't be countered. Boom. Lovely stuff. The next creature we cast this turn can be cast as Flash. Flash in a Regisaur. A Galta. Boom. If Galta costs 2, it's not a problem paying an extra 1 green to get the Queen down. Oh, definitely a funny card. Nobody's going to expect this, but if you absolutely hate counter spells, Savage Summoning, I mean, overkill, at least for me. Maybe you're not using a crazy amount of scary dinos like Tyrannix Rex, Carnage Tyrant, that sort of thing. But the creature is bigger. If it helps us get Galta, the Queen, a little bit easier, that's where it's at. And it is legal in Pioneer too. But yeah, overkill, 100%. What's under? Oh, Eldritch Evolution. Yes, I mean, not much more to say about that. Fantastic potential. A bunch of you guys probably have used that before. As an additional cost, sacrifice the creature. Ooh, not a problem. Search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost X or less. So it's very nice. You don't have to search for a specific mana value. It's sometimes mana value equal to 1 plus the mana value of whatever creature you sacrifice. Very versatile right there, but maybe again, we have multiple copies of Galta. Sacrifice Galta to Eldritch Evolution. Boom. Search for basically any creature in the game. Galta costs 12. You can search for something that has 14 mana value or less. That's basically everything, I think, except the original Emrakul. Oh, scary, scary. And this is legal in Pioneer too. My goodness. Very strong commander card, 100%. Oh, lovely, lovely. Got my playset of that a long time ago. But I'm going to be looking forward to using it in Arena when they soon release this. They got the Innistrad remastered coming, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be on the list just because it is such a popular card, whether it's Commander or whatever. But underneath that, going back to fighting stuff, where's the Ovenwald tracker? Boom. We got fighting things. It's all about fighting. Instant speed fighting. Doing something at instant speed. And Setessan Tactics. My goodness. Oh, a link of your current ideas for your Izza deck. Hey, yeah, no, definitely. Definitely I'd like to look at what other people are doing. I try to study the exact lists, but for the most part, when you're casting multiple creatures that can't be countered, likely can't be targeted, like Kearney T and T-Rex, you can usually bust through just about anything if you get to that point. So nothing is super scary. Oh yes, oh, I am happy, like I was hoping throughout the search. Eventually we'll see it, but you guys get to see the thought process of some pretty cool cards. See how you might use it, I'm hoping to use it. Oh, it's scary stuff, scary stuff. I continually take down Azorius, Dimir. It's like autopilot, basically. Just keep dropping bombs, draw out that sweeper, that sort of thing. Maybe use Setessan Tactics, instant speed to fight some of the sharks. For the most part, I do like this line, the final line. This creature fights another target creature. It's not another target creature your opponent controls. Something like that. So we can just have our own dinos fight our own dinos, enrage, enrage, enrage. We can get a ton of value, potentially. Speaking of control, oh my goodness, possibly if they've cast a sweeper, in response to the sweeper, you just make all your stuff fight each other and get some value from the enrage before they die. Possibly against control. You probably wouldn't bring this in against control, but let's just humor me for a second here. You have this in, you respond, you get some value by making everything fight everything. That would be pretty sweet indeed. Against mono red, well, it depends. A sweeper is very good, a damage-based sweeper. Setessan Tactics probably would be pretty nice, especially because each creature we target gets +1/+1. That might do the trick, but just interacting with multiple of their things. If we can get Topiary Stomper fighting, you don't need to be at 7 lands to fight. So Topiary Stomper, of course, wherever he is, I won't search for him. I got a bunch of piles at the moment. It's not a pretty sight off camera. I was thinking I might organize as I do this, but that is going downhill. But yeah, mono red, this specifically would be pretty good, I imagine, but definitely a damage-based sweeper if I have it in the sideboard. Usually I do Brotherhood's End, 3 damage to each creature and planeswalker. That tends to do the trick. Sometimes mono red, of course, is just a little bit faster. I can't quite get the job done. That's alright. If I have a favorable matchup against Azorius Control or Dimir, that's a pretty good fact. Very different decks, but you would not expect dinos to be good against a traditional control deck like that. I have to find out where I got these Setessan Tactics from. I want to kind of keep them all together, of course. Primal Might. Oh, speaking of Primal Might, I think I do have some foil copies of Primal Might. We'll see it at some point, I would imagine, here. But yes, Primal Might is lovely stuff. Of course, if you've ramped a lot, it is nice to sink all available mana into Primal Might. You don't have to target a creature, of course, which is lovely. It's a May, so you just sink everything into it. You swing. At the very least, you're doing a lot of extra damage for that turn. But consider they only have one creature. Boom. Sink everything into it, power it up, make it super big, take out that only creature, and then still continue in to gain, or not lose that value from the temporary boost in power. Of course, you couldn't use Castle Garenbrig for it. Again, only for creatures or abilities of creatures, but Primal Might, that's where it's at. You can start off with Primal Might quite safely. You don't have to feel bad because you don't need a creature to target. Spikefield Hazard. Had to pick it up at some point. Don't use it a whole lot. Of course, dealing 1 damage to any target at instant speed. Maybe it can ping a dino, ranging raptors. In a pinch, you pay 1 red, you ping ranging raptors, you get a basic land. That's pretty decent value right there. But if a permanent dealt damage this way would die, exile it. So that could be nice. You tag Croxa, Titan of Death's Hunger. I think it's called Titan of Death. You know the card. Ping him while his trigger is on the stack to sacrifice him. If he hasn't escaped, boom. As long as he's touched by this, he's exiled, and you don't have to worry at least about that copy being escaped from the graveyard. That's a very scary guy. And I think in a lot of Rakdos mid-range, they don't use the full playset of Croxa, so you might have a pretty good chance of not seeing another copy of that. And, in a pinch, if you don't need the damage, of course, this could be Spikefield Cave as your first land for the turn, during your first turn. Especially if you don't play a lot of things that cost 1. This is definitely quite reasonable to do this as your turn 1 play, I feel. Yeah, and it would be good in foil. Imagine that in foil. Oh, super shiny and beautiful. I don't have any foil versions of Spikefield Hazard, but yeah, it is nice. Let's see, what else? Volcanic Fallout. I gotta mention Volcanic Fallout. Yeah. Oh, you love Arena. Oh, seeing the cards on paper, 100%. I've got basically everything I need in paper, in Arena, but it's just a nice switch up, I guess. Eventually, like we were talking about, I will go down to my local game store. Whether or not I record the games, that's another question. Galta's with the sweet alt art. Oh, yes, I do. Funny you should mention that. Actually, I'm trying to, let me see, where are my binders? We'll get to that. I'll show off my super special shiny dino binder. Basically everything is foiled. Carnage Tyrant, promo pack foil, Galta foil. Oh, we got time. It's Friday. Hopefully all you guys are having a good Friday. My goodness, we're just getting into the weeds here. I guess I shouldn't call the cards weeds, but yes, Fork Bolt, lovely. You'll wait for it. Good stuff. We will get there, but again, Fork Bolt, Rise of Eldrazi, when it was rare redrafting, again, a long time ago. Oh my goodness, there might have been 1 draft where I had, I think at most 3 of these. I might have done a draft where I got 4, but I think this thing is very versatile, nice to split up damage, local, empty. It would be fantastic. We'll get there at some point. There is a local Pioneer Knight at my game store. It's like a couple 5-minute walk down the hill where I live, so it will happen. But of course, with 2 kids, 1 almost 3 and 1 that is 3 months, you can imagine working in something like a night of Pioneer usually goes for 3-4 hours. That can be difficult to manage. But eventually, one day I'll do it. I can't use this in Pioneer, though. Oh, watching Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournaments. I did play Yu-Gi-Oh! And, yeah, going back to this, I did play this a little bit. But just dealing damage divided for 1 red. You can do 2 to something, 1 to 2 things. Lovely versatility there for Enrage, especially. But it's nice. You don't have to deal 1 to 2 things. Yeah, that's where it's at. The strictly better, well, not strictly better shock just because it is sorcery speed, but if you're not caring about instant or sorcery, this could be possibly pretty good. I just like the art as well. That would be good in foil, but probably quite expensive. But yeah, watching tournaments, I would love to play in it, go back to my days of drafting. Those weren't super big tournaments, but just in-person play. Look at all these fire whips. Fire whip, fire whip, fire whip. I'm not even going to count them, and there's other piles of those. But again, just the potential of this. Oh, and it's stunning in foil as well. Pretty rare in foil also. Yeah, pick up 4 copies if you want to mess around with it. Ping stuff. Oh, the land card. Oh. Was it this card? This card? That card? Where's the land card? Spike Field? Pyroclasm? Hard to say, just trying to go through some as fast as I can. Oh, on screen. That guy right there. Or this guy. That thing. I think I showed it off. Oh, Castle Garenbrig. Yeah. That land card right there. I got 4 copies. I swear. Again, I say 90% chance somewhere. That's the main plan of tonight. Find those. I got a lot of mixed up piles. It's got to be in there. We'll get to it. Probably continue after I find it. Hopefully I find it. Oh, it's, again, the best land I've added for dinos in forever. I would say. Yeah, definitely. Power out Carnage Tyrant, power out Tyrannosaurus Rex, quite a bit easier. Yes, so we'll go, I'll explain Castle Garenbrig. So you get to turn 4, you have 5 lands, including this, after you ramp. Effectively, Castle Garenbrig taps for 2 mana. So you would tap 4 lands, plus this. You're tapping 5 lands to get 6. Meaning Castle Garenbrig, in a sense, tap for 2. You would tap 4 lands, and that, yeah, pretty much. It gets you a land ahead, sort of. You can think about it that way, but yeah. Use its ability. You can get that mana from anything to tap it, a creature, whatever, but you add 6, and there are those restrictions for Castle Garenbrig. But if basically everything you have to cast is a creature, that Carnage Tyrant, the Tyrannosaurus Rex, it is nice to do that and get closer to those things stably, quite stably, because it is a land. That is the lovely part of Castle Garenbrig. But again, perhaps you get Thunderherd Migration, search for a basic land on turn 2, and then by turn 4 you have this 5 lands total. You're 2 turns ahead on that Carnage Tyrant, being able to play Carnage Tyrant on turn 4 because of this. Boom, lovely stuff. Oh, absolutely. Without Garenbrig's strength, the realm of dinos would succumb to the wilds of control and other nasty things. Of course, if creatures are trying to ramp to get to those bigger, scarier dinos, likely they're going to be swept and answered. I still have those in for most lists that I use, but just to shore up the painful sweepers and cheap removal that kind of slowed things down. It has been nice to add this on Arena, and it will be nice to use it in paper. 100%. I should probably just read all the flavor texts in my nice, soothing voice. But almost done this little bundle of cards here. Reptilian Reflection. It makes itself a dino. That's basically why I bought it. And of course oh, look at that shiny foiling. Lovely stuff. I haven't really ever used it on Arena in paper, but if you like flavor text, the flavor text on this is danger often lurks in the allure of crystal shards. Beautiful art. There's not a whole lot of dinos that do cycle. There is Yadaro, Wandering Monster, which we'll probably see at some point. But just because this is an enchantment, maybe the Azorius control player, somebody is sweeping on their turn, this does not die because it's sitting well, it's not a creature. So you could have some nice, fantastic, surprising aggression with a temporary 5/4 dinosaur with trample and haste. Play it for 3, cycle a land, something like that for cheap. Boom, attack. Maybe the opponent is tapped out. The next turn they untap, but it's too late to kill this because this is back to just an enchantment. So it can be nice to, it's kind of like it's a man enchantment. Yeah, we'll call it a man enchantment, like a man land. You know, maybe potentially having a body to keep up that aggression. All the dino cards I have for paper in Arena, yeah, for the most part, I would say it probably transfers over directly. Maybe there's some odds and ends, but yeah, I would say I have everything. I'm pretty sure. There might be 1 or 2 things, but basically, all that stuff. Lots of reptilian reflections, just again, because, I mean, whew, beautiful art. But that does it for this little package here. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to start just putting things in piles. One second. We'll get there. I'll kind of, well, clean up a little bit. It's not organized, again, like I was thinking, but I gotta make space for all the other good stuff you're about to see. Ooh. Now I feel like Castle Garenbrig might be in this section. There's a pretty good chance that's decently big, but Otepic Huntmaster. I got a lot. Look at all those Otepic Huntmasters, Huntmaster after Huntmaster. But because I love this thing, I think Huntmaster is one of the most key cards in a dinosaur deck. It does die, of course, often to many things. Your own Marauding Raptors, of course, but the potential. You've seen me use it. You guys may have used it before. Possibly allowing us to play multiple dinos a turn again because of cost reduction and the haste. Fantastic package. Potentially, Huntmaster is 2+ Llanowar Elves, Elvish Mystic, because of that cost reduction and the nice aggression with the haste. But it has only been printed 1 time. That is in the original Ixalan. Might have been reprinted potentially in a list. Might be on the list for set boosters. You can possibly open cards from any set in the game, I believe. But the fact it's only been printed once, it is actually ticking up in price quite a bit. The foils of Otepic Huntmaster are quite a few bucks. It might be $4 or $5. I don't use a Dino playmat. No, I just green is my favorite color, so I got this nice Ultra Pro green playmat. But I will get a dinosaur playmat at some point. Actually, I got to show you guys. I'll leave all those Huntmasters there. There is a Carnage Tyrant playmat from Grand Prix Providence in 2017. I'm looking for it. If I find it, I'm going to buy it. I think you had to win the tournament or something. But I'll just, I'll search it up right now, quickly. Enjoy the music while I do that. The thing that got me strictly into dinos, just the fact that, well, I wanted to do something, one thing so completely. I loved the idea of the fact that it would be strictly something, nothing else, but also because I started off with Snake Tribal in the original Kamigawa. It kind of probably leaned me into dinosaurs. I just loved everything they did when Ixalan first released. Brought me back into the game, and at least for myself, I just thought it was cool to do one thing and just say to myself, I'm gonna still continue only doing one thing year after year. Maybe some people call that cute, sad, whatever it is. I like it. I'm proud of it. I think it's pretty cool, at least for myself, and yeah, that's about it. Definitely fairly unique, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. Well, another question for everybody to determine themselves. Yeah, I just thought it was neat. And I read something early on when I was making my YouTube channel. Do the least, the most. Kind of set yourself apart. Not just to set yourself apart, but if you find something you like enough that you just do that one thing, whether it's a specific deck or some other type of video, type of content. Yeah, 100%. I hope to inspire, keep a nice positive attitude, especially when I get streaks of losses. Often when the opponent fatal pushes Huntmasters here. That's not a fun time. It's bound to happen. I'm glad, hopefully. I mean, I do appreciate that. I like to inspire, try my best, do my best, 100%. Oh, they are powerful. It's taken quite some time, and some of the pieces, the recent pieces, Tyrannix Rex and Topiary Stomper specifically, I mean, we just didn't have those. I mean, previously it was just Huntmaster. The Dinosaur Tribal and Standard was not a pretty sight. This was the main best acceleration. Oh boy, it was slow to say the least. Yikes. Of course, when Marauding Raptor was released, I was over the moon ecstatic. I was already playing dinosaurs strictly, and then we got that thing. Shifting Ceratops, the ultimate control hate card. Oh, beautiful stuff, but I'm still just searching. Oh, Carnage Tyrant. Oh, it is in stock. Oh, I might buy it. It's available in the EU on Card Market. Interesting. Trying to find a bigger image for you guys. Somewhere. Gotta be here. Might take me a little bit to scroll. Google Images. Sometimes it takes a bit to find exactly what you're looking for. Oh, red, one of your favorite colors. Good stuff. One of the first colors. Hey, red is basic. Red wins the game. Red deck wins. Goblins. Oh, goblins can be scary. Goblins can be Gruul colors. They can be Jund. There's a couple black goblins. I do have most of the stuff for a goblin deck myself, and I dabbled in it a bit. I don't actually play it, but I'm not able to find it. That playmat of Carnage Tyrant featuring the art of Carnage Tyrant from one of the Grand Prix championships. If you search it up on Google, you'll probably find it. Yeah. I just couldn't quite find a good picture for you guys. But it is there. I am considering getting it. Oh, my wife is thirsty. I'm going to get my wife a drink of water. I just saw her text me, so I'll leave the beautiful sight of Huntmaster. Foil Huntmaster. Oh, I don't know if I like dinos at all. Not at all. There's probably 20, 30 Marauding Raptors right there. Ooh. But yeah, I'll be back 1 second. Get my wife some water. Enjoy the music. Enjoy this spectacle of lovely, lovely dinos. 1 sec. All right, back in action, ready to go. Got that water for my wife pretty quick. Okay, yeah. I'm not going to count out all these marauding raptors. I probably have at least 4 pockets of marauding raptors similar to these particular marauding raptors. Most of them, again, similar to that Seshiro you may have seen. It's got that planeswalker symbol. So these versions are from set boosters from the list. Yeah. Oh. Okay, let's tidy this up here. Get back to whatever pile. Hopefully I grabbed the right pile. And we don't see cards you already saw. Oh, historic Rakdos goblins. They are kind of broken. Oh, I don't like that combo. Call of the Death Dweller. Reanimating Goblin Chain Whirler from the graveyard with a death touch counter. 1 damage to each creature. Your opponent's control. One-sided board wipe. Very, very scary stuff. I don't like that thing. I've been killed by it. Marauding is a must. Yes. Got some fantastic versions. The promo of Marauding. But Rampaging Brontodon. This is a card we got to talk about. There is a glitch on Arena at the moment with this and the other cards from the game night. They are legal in Explorer on Arena, but for whatever reason, you still can't use them in an Explorer legal deck. Oh, it's yeah, that's too bad. Hopefully they fix that glitch at some point. Rampaging's a rare, yes. And I think it has fantastic potential. Very, very big and scary if you're facing something that doesn't have a lot of removal. This guy, is attacking for bigger than Tyrannix Rex, definitely. Oh, I've been very sad that I still can't use this in Arena, but I am happy that I got a bunch of copies that aren't foil, because all the ones in the game night were foiled. I was sad that I probably couldn't use this card ever unless it was reprinted in something like it was in the original Jumpstart here. The printing quality on the original Jumpstart was abysmal. I have 1 or 2 copies that just are terrible, but I have enough that they look decent, so I might use this at some point. But yeah, I'm just happy there is a version that is a non-foil. It's not going to bend, similar to the game night version of this. But yeah, cross my fingers that glitch is fixed. Of course, Rampaging Brontodon is not very popular, so they're probably not pressed to fix the glitch that gets 5 cards onto Explorer. It's not top the priority list, that's for sure. Sadly for us. For anybody that actually wants to use that. Thrasher Raptors, I'll mention it quickly. Won't spend too long on this, but 3 in the red for a 3/3. As long as you control another dinosaur, it gets +2/+0 and trample. So very fantastic if you're starting out in the game. If you know somebody that wants to start out in the game, this is a common. This is simple. I got a bunch of copies. I think this makes sense for a beginner. Easy to track. Oh, I have 2 Thrash Raptors. That means I have another dinosaur for each one. They're both 5/3 tramples. That's pretty fantastic. That's pretty decent bodies for a common, and definitely a very easy requirement to meet, only needing another dinosaur. But yeah, good for a beginner budget deck. Just learning the game. What is this? Oh, I shouldn't even show you guys. Let's cover that. It's going to crash the stream. 1 copy is good, but right here on screen, you guys are seeing 4 copies of Colossal Dreadmaw. I'm surprised the stream has not just crashed immediately. Maybe if I were using more than 4, it would probably just cut out. The music would cut out. Yeah, let's not... Yeah, let's not do that. Still waiting for the Dreadmaw secret lair. Yes, Nash, 100%. What happened to the text? Yeah. Actually, maybe I should read the flavor text of Colossal Dreadmaw. It says, remember when it was the most terrifying thing you'd ever seen? Captain Lannery Storm. I don't know exactly what that means. Most terrifying thing? This is the most terrifying thing you've ever seen, but I think that implies there's something more terrifying than this, which I don't see how that is possible. But yeah, let's get that off. I don't want things to crash. The in real life Galta sleeves. I don't have those. No. Sadly, no. Taken infinite extra turns yet? Yeah. That would be something. But definitely Colossal Dreadmaw for the win. You got to have at least a couple copies. What else is there? Let's see. These are just a bunch of common dinos. The Thrashing Brontodons and Ripjaw Raptor, of course. You got to have that guy. Bunch of copies of him. Foil version is very nice with the feather look there. Very, very shiny. Beautiful. The Secret Lair cereal box. I did not get that, of course, on Arena when you could get it. I got the cereal box Galta sleeve and the other sleeves as well. So I think that's enough for me using the cereal box Galta sleeve with the Timmy avatar. And some people still say nice. I think some people are still surprised when they see that combination and they see dinos. You would think they would see that combination and assume it's going to be Dinosaur Tribal. Yeah. Definitely not too common, that's for sure. So people probably just enjoy playing against something a little bit different. This though, these are a bunch of basic other things, but the 4 Awakening Suns avatar, this is actually probably pretty popular in Commander, I would imagine. Yeah, it's big, expensive, but a one-sided board wipe likely when it enters the battlefield if you cast it. You always got to remember, do not try to cheat this thing from the graveyard. Don't try to just put it onto the battlefield. No shenanigans. You got to play fair if you want to destroy everything they have. Likely you're not playing a mirror match, but yeah. Could be pretty hard to cast with the 3 white, but Dragon Shield sleeves. What sleeves do I have? Let me see. I might have a box, but we'll leave that beautiful sight right there. I actually use this stuff, not a product placement or anything, but this brand Apollo premium sleeves. This is the transparent ones, but I use their black ones that they have. And yeah, I seem to get a lot of sleeves with the deal, and I definitely have a lot of dinosaurs that I want to protect, so I usually use one of these, then I put a perfect fit in with one of these Apollo clear sleeves just to protect the card. I alternate how the sleeves are in, so this perfect fit, the opening is at the bottom, and then you slide it in from the top with the normal size sleeve. Super duper protected. Whether or not the dino or the card inside is expensive, that's another question, but I double sleeve a lot of stuff. Crazy, but I love my dinos. This is basically the only thing I do, so it makes sense to protect my stuff. Maybe down the line I sell this or give it away. That would be probably pretty cool. Do a contest, something like that, maybe for 1,000 subscribers. I mail out one copy of a foil Carnage Tyrant from the promo pack of Core 2020 near mint. Ooh, that would be cool. OG Domri, yes, definitely OG Domri. I do have OG Domri, but the newer one from War of the Spark. The last time we see Domri, sadly, that is where it's at. So that's the Swiss Army knife. They do cost the same, OG and that one. But that one boosting power, ramping, protecting against counter spells, and fighting. That one is the package I want, 100%. His ult definitely is hilarious if you can get there with Vivian Reed. Speaking of Vivian Reed, I don't think I have copies of her, but Vivian's ultimate, +2/+2, indestructible, trample, a whole big good package. I want to get to her ultimate at some point. I want to get that emblem. Maybe I'll just play a stream that, or play a deck that includes Vivian Reed every single night until I get her emblem, and then I just cut her, because, well, she's not exactly my favorite, but that emblem would do the trick. Hopefully the opponent would concede on the spot when it happens. I don't know. Hard to say. What else we got? Marauding. That was through the whole package. I'm pretty sure that was... Yeah, that was the whole package. Okay, we're on to package bundle number 50. Who knows? I've lost count at this point. I'm trying to keep them organized as much as possible. Not just a pile of cards. A stack upon stacks upon stacks of dinos. And stuff to use dinos with. Pit fight, ground assault, yes. Mob rule. I've been wondering about mob rule. Gaining control of all creatures of an opponent controls with power 3 or less, or with power 4 or greater. Something like, oh, strictly for the love, yes. A lot of nice relaxing music, and sometimes the title of the song does line up quite a bit. I saw the title of this and I figured whenever it does play, just because it is mixed, the playlist that I have, I love it. Beautiful. Some stuff is a little bit more upbeat, but that song does the trick for me whenever I see it. Ground assault, though, that would be a... Yeah, sorcery speed, we'll see. I like to keep things instant speed interaction whenever possible, or if something does a wide variety of things. A Swiss Army knife, similar to War of the Spark Domri, that puts it on my radar, definitely. But let me see the next package of stuff I want to get. I don't know. Mob rule, yes, mob rule for sure. One on the sideboard, maybe a crazy person and use 3, but I imagine if you use mob rule, you'll choose either option to steal a lot of stuff. You probably have to just cast mob rule and then you win. I would figure at that point, you have your own creatures, you do that, boom. Ugh, scary stuff. I don't know what's in this. I put a deck in it and it sat like this for a year or 2, probably 3 years, but we are going to find out right now what I have forgotten is in this deck case. No idea. It might not be dinos. I don't think it's oh, that is blue, and that is not dinos. Well, I'm pretty sure Castle Garenbrig is not in this deck box. Oh, I know what this is. I know what this is. This is when I was messing around with mono blue, or I think is it wizards, abusing enter the battlefield effects. Archaeomancer. When it enters the battlefield, return target instant or sorcery from your graveyard to the battlefield. You double that enter the battlefield effect, you get 2 things back. Yes, surprise deck. I know it's not dinos, I'm sorry. I can take this off screen if some of you guys are disgusted. What the? Yes, I know. But wizards were cheap. You know, on a day or 2 when I'd done enough practice matches with dinos, I kind of delved into this, and you know, for my kids, I wanted to have some cool options when they play. They may not like dinos, but they will have potentials. A blue player, oh, Commander, no, this is just normal 60 card Pioneer Legal, I believe. Wizards. Let me see, what else I got? Zalfirin Void. Oh, the promo art of Zalfirin Void. Maybe I have to make it go down a little bit more. But yeah, I don't normally play Commander. Usually it's just regular 60 card. But yeah, I got this and treasure map. Oh, Navigator's Compass. Okay, so in my search with Dominaria, when we first went to Dominaria quite a few years ago, and with Wizards, I thought, oh, I want a nice turn 1 play. So my thinking was Zalfirin Void. I scry 1, smooth out the draws, tap 1 to add a colorless to play Navigator's Compass. When it oh, it's a shiny compass. But when it enters the battlefield, we gain 3 life. We tap it. Target land becomes the basic land of our choice. So turn 1, we scry 1, we gain 3 life, and we make Zalfirin Void. All other turns tap for the mana of whatever color we need at that time, temporarily. Artifact Wizards. It was a little bit of Artifact Wizards theme, I guess you could say. And possibly, you know, Navigator's Compass. It's not great. It could be used to smooth out the mana for dinos, possibly. Tapping and making a basic land, or target land, become a basic land of our choice, in addition to its other types, which is quite nice. It doesn't lose those types, so that could be kind of applicable, but not just usable in Wizards. Yeah, I think it was Azorius Wizards, I'm pretty sure, yeah. Jeskai Wizards, white, blue, and red. The Pyromancer here, of course, double its enter the battlefield effect, 4 damage to an opponent or planeswalker. Oh, yeah, there's the thing. There's the thing that was the inspiration. Of course, it's the... Let's get there so you can read it. You may have used this before, but Naban, Dean of Iteration, 1 in the blue, 2/1 wizard. If a wizard entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent to trigger, you do it a second time. But I kind of like this just because it is the foil promo version. I have normal versions, of course, but I just like the Wizards as well. Similar to Dinos, how they have that feathered look. The Wizards got usually flashy parts on them, so the foiling process can be pretty spectacular, like it is with Naban. But yeah, it is a little bit of Artifact Wizard sub-theme. Oh, an OG, an almost OG island. That is pretty cool stuff. I have some OG forests. I think this was from Unlimited with the white border there. We'll probably see those forests at some point, I would imagine. Yeah, you just never know what you're going to get. I definitely did not remember it was Wizards in here, which is pretty cool. Okay, moving on. Yeah, that's all Wizards. Nothing to see there. Just abusing Wizards with enter the battlefield effects, doubling it with Naban. That's what it's all about. But I'll get that back in the deck box. It was pretty full, so wish me luck. Goodness, it's hard to hold this. This deck box holding 100 cards, of course it is for Commander, which I don't play at the moment, but you guys might give me the push eventually, one day. Okay, next up, who knows? You just never know with this. I'm pretty bad at organizing. Perhaps a lot of us are bad at organizing our cards or whatever else. Where do I get my cards and accessories like the deck box? My local game store, the game store I used to go to. Sometimes I order these online, oftentimes through eBay, potentially Amazon. I just search for, the best price, whether it be singles or sleeves. These, These I found on Amazon. I think you get 3 packs of 100, which is pretty nice. It's been a while since I bought this, but I know this was on Amazon, so definitely check it out. The Real Dragon Slayer, how's it going? Hopefully you're having a good Friday, loving this type of content, good stuff. I've always wanted to do this. I got a little stand to hold the camera, of course, get to use my microphone, so it's definitely working out. Definitely nice to, you know, showcase all the cards I have, and again, search for this thing. Crossing the fingers. My goodness. Yeah. A good toilet sitting stream. Hey, that's how it goes wherever you are watching. I do appreciate it. Anywhere, anytime. It's good stuff. But yeah, definitely Commander is expensive in general. If you see a wacky card and it costs, you know, $30, $40, it may be because of Commander. Definitely, if it is an old stream. A good stream period, yes. Thank you very much. Makes you want to grab some food? Well, I want to get a sip of my coffee. I made an entire pot of coffee. I usually do that. Well, that's not a good picture, but that's probably the second cup. I actually have a coffee stains just off camera. I kind of hid them, but I spilt a little bit on this playmat, and I'm pretty sure it's coffee. Yes, definitely not as much creativity, 100%. And just, what is that? I think that's my beard hair. My goodness. But yeah, 100%. It, of course, it is competitive, but it's always going to be a pretty casual format. People are always going to want to win. But just the fact it's not consistent. I will play it again. I will play it at some point with a dinosaur tribal list, but I don't get to see all of the fantastic dinos that I love as often as I would like to see them. Mana Crypt, Decimator Web, yeah. Streamline Jank, I would have to look into it. It would take me a lot of research. I want to do as best as possible with the dinosaur list. There's a lot of examples for that. So it probably wouldn't take me too long. Add my own spice and flavor, that sort of thing. Yeah, it's worth a try. I could make some wacky combinations, so that is pretty enticing with definitely some of the dinos, copies of dinos, Zakama, something. Competitive jank, ooh. Okay. As I go, the section I did label some of my sections. This one said green creatures, so there's a very good chance Castle Garenbrig is not in here, sadly. But yeah, I just thought I might do bear. Oh my goodness! I did not think I got that many Iulas. Queen among bears. Okay, so I have about 16 copies of this lovely tribal bear lord. Whenever a bear enters the battlefield under your control, choose one. Put 2 counters on target bear, or target bear you control fights target creature you don't control. It's very funny. It's pretty funny that I have so many copies. I forgot I had so many. My goodness. All bear witness. Okay, let's keep in mind there are some things. Maskwood Nexus. We make all our dinos all creature types. They're dinosaur bears. We could add some spice and have Iula, queen among bear dinos. That's pretty cool. I just love the ability here. Making something bigger. There is some fantastic potential with this, and the one flashy bear from Time Spiral. Yes. The name escaped me. Look at all these Ash Code bears. Okay. That is all Ash Code bears. That thing's actually pretty decently expensive, just because it was only printed once, I believe. I'll leave the one copy there for you guys to peruse. the strictly better grizzly bears. It costs the same power, toughness, but it's flash. Flash in Ash Code Bear. You put 2 counters on this, 1 in a green for a 4/4 flash, or you fight or something like that. I didn't pull so many. I just wanted to buy so many because the price was right when I found these probably 4 years ago. And just in case, you know, Bear Tribal got popular, I'm gonna count them here. 4, 5. There's 40 copies of Ash Code Bear. So if any of you guys are in the market for this thing, this bear, this particular bear, you want to make your Bear Tribal list for Modern. Ooh, lovely stuff. It could be hard to find, again, just because it is such an old card from 2006, I believe. Yeah, well, you just never know what you're going to see tonight. Again, it's not all dinos. Dino Tribal for the win. Bear Dino Tribal for the win. Oh, definitely. It is too competitive, but imagine you go down to your local game store with Modern Bear Tribal. Nobody would ever suspect that. They might not expect dinosaurs, but this is below dinosaurs in expectations. My goodness, Modern Bear Tribal. It's tempting just because it is so uncommon. It's not so good, but just for the funnies, the laughs, it would be worth it, 100%. But yeah, there was a section of bears. That was all. I thought it was other green creatures, but it was just that. Huh. Who knows? Yes. Maybe one day it'll be Modern legal, the next Modern Horizons 3. Whew. That'd be pretty sweet. Hopefully they do something like that. Oh no. I grabbed the wrong section. I thought I grabbed green stuff, but this was below the cards. So I actually grabbed the bear stuff section. That does make sense, since it was literally Ayula and Ashcote. That's okay. Okay, now we'll get to the actual green creature section, not the bear stuff. Yeah, I should have made this divider a little bit taller to sit above the card. But yeah, green creatures, fantastic. How long have I been playing? A fantastic question. I started in 2003, 2004, here and there, off and on, something like that. But, bears would be one of the stronger tribals, 100% if it was more realistic. But yeah, I started in about 2003. 8th edition, the original Maraudon, which, you know, we're kind of seeing Phyrexians right now with the release of March of the Machines. Phyrexia all will be one. But yeah, for 57, I don't know. It's getting close to 2 decades at this point since I first started. I did play League of Legends for quite a few years there, taking a couple years off. But when Dinos were released in early 2018, the first Ixalan set, actually I think Ixalan was December 2017. Rivals of Ixalan was February 2018, like Jade Light Ranger is from. So yeah, a long time, got a lot of cool stuff. You guys are going to see a lot of cool stuff. I'm not sure how long I'll be going tonight, but I might as well keep going again since it is Friday, as long as my wife doesn't need too much. Actually, I'll leave these here. Okay, we got Jade Light Ranger. I'm gonna go just take care of something for my wife, then I'll be right back. We got Hero's Bane, which I thought was very cool. What else Wild Growth Walker, of course. pairing with the Jadelight Ranger and explore tribal. Explorer matters. Explore in Explorer would be kind of funny. Friday Night Magic, yes. It's a beautiful thing. Oh, Arbor Elf. Yeah, not a big selection of green creatures, but valuable stuff. I'll be back in 1 second again, and yeah, don't go anywhere. Whew, all right. Back at it. Good to go. Okay. Let's see. Definitely like that. The music keeps playing. At least you got that if I do have to step away, but that's probably it for stepping away now. I should be good. Of course, if my daughter wakes up, that might happen. We'll see. Oh, okay, I see. That we saw Overwhelming Stampede previously. I showed off a single copy. I said, oh, I know I've got some more somewhere. And I just found the section that, so it's almost all Overwhelming. Okay, this is as surprising for you guys as it is for me. I don't know, probably 12, 16 copies of this. I don't know. I had a bit of a phase where I'd get multiple copies of a card that was pretty good if it was recently reprinted and it was cheap because it was recently reprinted. But again, this card, oh, lovely stuff. A finisher, a lovely potential finisher. Boom. Probably, well, it is good in Commander because this is a Commander set that it was reprinted in. But again, if you didn't miss that when I saw my single, beautiful art too, beautiful art, I must say. But if you didn't catch it when I mentioned it, I mean, greatest power among creatures you control plus X plus X plus X. You got Galta, give your creatures +12/+12, boom. That's going to do the trick. One hit, definitely for 5, quite easy to play. But yeah, who knows what else it's going to be. It could be 60 copies of Marauding Raptor. My goodness. Oh yeah, no, it's I just felt just in case, you know, maybe the price of a certain card increases. Maybe I want to make multiple decks with it. I thought, oh, I'll pay a little bit more. If a card is low enough, I'd have to go back and look how much I bought Overwhelming Stampede for. But I just thought it was just so cool. Definitely, I mean, most people only want 4. But if it's cheap enough, I'll pick up more than 4 copies on the off chance it increases in price, something like that. And I just think it's kind of cool to see multiple copies. Speaking of multiple copies, this is a good card to have. Farseek from the original Ravnica. Lovely. Yeah, multiple decks, that sort of thing. Farseek is a lovely card. 1 in a green sorcery. Again, printed in a commander set, this version. Search your library for a plains, island, swamp, or mountain card. Put it onto the battlefield tapped. That's not a basic land. Let's read that again. Plains, island, swamp, or mountain card, not basic land. So you could search for whatever dual land, tri-land, triome, whatever it is, especially good with the new triomes. They already come into play tapped, so this, having that come into play tapped, not a drawback whatsoever. You get fantastic ramp fixing for 1 in a green. Lovely, lovely stuff. This was decently expensive before it was reprinted in Commander set. Oh, I just love making dinos work, refining things, doing better and better. Maybe, you know, taking some of your guys' suggestions, not as refined, but I'm happy to do some crazy dino stuff on the ladder, wherever it is. Maybe I don't win quite as much, but some competitive builds such as Rakdos. Rakdos is pretty hard, I must say. They've got a lot of removal, making us sacrifice creatures, sacrifice that Carnage turret with Liliana of the Veil, that sort of thing. Bolt Bend, oh my goodness. Just Bolt Bend for exactly lethal. That stream, well, the stream featuring it with the thumbnail art. Oh, I wish I could bring it up for you guys easily, but that would take probably a little bit too long. Turning around Ugin's 3 damage to hit the opponent for exactly 3, exactly lethal with the Bolt Bend. Wow, wow. Oh, still loving it. Yes, I definitely appreciate that you saw it. Hopefully a bunch of you other guys saw it as well, whether you're watching right now, later on. Go back and take a peruse, a browse Hard to top that. You can't write moments like using an Ugins 3 damage against itself to take the opponent out. Wow. And it's not like I played a bunch of matches, I trimmed it up, I picked the best matches and presented them. That was live, which makes it even more epic and fantastic. Yeah, well, I have no idea what we're going to see. Let's get to the next section. It's not really a section, it's just a small order I made recently. Open it up. A lot of good stuff. I know there's a lot of good stuff in this. The extended art of Volcanic Salvo, which I've used on Arena, but I mean, it makes sense. It is our Galta removal spell. Costs X less to cast, where X is the total power of creatures we control, similar to Galta. If we can cast this for just 2 red, or, you know, maybe 4 in total, 2 and 2 red. Some of you guys saw me use this to great effect. A 2-for-1 removal spell. Dirt cheap. Beautiful art. You gotta love that. And I do have it in foil. We may see that at some point tonight. But just, oh, man, that is fantastic and scary. But the fact, again, you got to imagine 6 damage to a creature or a planeswalker, 2 planeswalkers, 2 creatures, versatile. That does the trick. If you only take out Sheoldred and Liliana of the Veil, I mean, I shouldn't say only, those 2 things, man, that is worth it right there. So I picked up, I found a playset of extended art, so it made sense. This card is still cheap. Maybe it will always stay cheap. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I'm thinking I might sleeve this up. I think it was probably still maybe 50 cents for an extended art rare, which is nice. I gotta say, it's worth it in my mind. Anything that can or should always be a 2-for-1, decent enough. And certainly dinos can meet the requirement of having tons of total power. But that, oh yeah, I gotta sleeve that guy up. I found a random normal foil version of Regis or Alpha near mint when I was putting in this order. Face-to-face games, if anyone was wondering, and again, not a product placement or whatever, but they had a single copy of a near mint foil Regis or Alpha, so me loving dinosaurs made sense. There's a lot of random foil Regis or Alphas hidden around. Definitely will be seeing more of those, but I gotta sleeve that guy up. It wasn't too expensive, but hey, you know, it's from the original printing in Ixalan, so it made sense to do that. What else we got? Oh yeah, definitely had to get my playset of Luca Bound to Ruin. He was quite cheap. Maybe he'll always stay cheap, but he can be pretty expensive. But just in case I want to use a bunch of them in paper, it made sense, especially because he adds a red and a green, so we ramp nicely to play the bigger dinos. The -1 to make a creature, Phyrexian Beast with Toxic, a 3/3. Love that. But the -4, it's hard to see there. Maybe I have to get the focus quite right. Yeah. Cat telling it's bedtime. Hey, that's all right. Definitely appreciate anybody, as long as you can watch. Maybe you join later on, whatever it is. I love doing this. I love a different type of content. Definitely I'll be open to do this again at some point. And maybe I'll put up chapters, but it might be hard to decide chapters for this type of stream. That's for sure. But definitely whenever you have to go, maybe I put you to sleep because my voice tends to put people to sleep. That's all right as well. Oh, more than hard to say. I haven't played paper in a while just because Arena is so accessible, and with 2 young kids, I definitely need accessibility for my favorite game. But definitely Luca, if you guys are interested in this, pick it up. It's pretty cheap at the moment. Maybe it increases. Maybe somebody makes good use of this. It might not be in dinos, but I think it was $3 Canadian Probably about a couple bucks US, something like that. Could be worth it. It's not bad, especially if you're in Gruul. I like this. Just before we get to the next card, say you have one Luca out, you use the -4, you take out multiple creatures or planeswalkers based on the creature that has the greatest power. Boom. You see another copy, that's okay. You take out even more things. Maybe you make a Phyrexian Beast with the first copy the following turn, then you play the second copy, you've already made a beast, but then you use that ability again. You get the idea. Something that can, well, you can consider a second copy sorcery speed removal for multiple things with the -4. So if you change the way you look at stuff, they can be pretty valuable. I would not be totally opposed to put all 4 copies, maybe just 3 copies in a list, definitely 2, but you see a second copy, it's still going to be pretty useful. Yeah. Hey, that's okay. I joke about it, but I should read like a lullaby or something. Post that on here. Oxida Finisher. Yeah, just a new card from a Phyrexia. All will be one. We're having fun. I'm putting people to sleep. Some of these cards are not cheap. That's about all I got with that. But yeah, just in case, you know, I want to make a red deck, simple, affinity for artifacts, trample, a 7/5, could be played for pretty cheap. Again, a simple card for a beginner, whether it's my kids or something else. That's all right. That's all right. If I can help people fall asleep during the stream, that is a good thing as well. Extra tired. Hopefully you don't fall asleep at work and get fired. That will be bad, not so rad. Sometimes I flow pretty good, but I don't know. Maybe not tonight. Maybe I'm a little bit tired as well. I do love this enough that I push through. Pushing through doesn't, it's not the right word for it. I don't feel tired while I'm doing this, but I do sleep well after doing this because it's nice to have another stream in the books. I think about 400 live streams at this point, which feels pretty cool. But yeah, going back to this order, Slaughter Games. Similar to, you know, the Stone Brain. You name a card, you search for all copies of that card, and you get rid of it. You can't name a land. Where's the other copies? Yeah. Name a non-land card, so you can't take out Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx, unfortunately. But this can't be countered by spells or abilities, so it is protected against certain stuff. Yeah, I've always thought about this, but definitely I would think Stone Brain is potentially better just because you can name land. You can name any card. But this is cheap, so I think it was 35 cents a copy. Figured I'd get the play set and potentially bring the pain against decks where they hinge on certain cards, getting to exile that. Especially against Is It, Indomitable Creativity. Of course, they could be holding up a counter spell for whatever, but getting rid of whatever is problematic in that deck, whether it be Indomitable Creativity or something else. It's going to be nice that they can't stop it with this one specifically. They'll likely stop the Stone Brain, but this card will bring the pain. Yeah. Oh, Thunderherd Migration. Yeah, makes sense. Had a couple copies when I was putting the order together, so it has been performing for me quite well in Arena. Should do the trick in paper, certainly. And again, it wasn't reprinted too much, so I thought I'd just add another 4. Made sense. Well, basic, fantastic. Not a lot of decks have, again, access to turn 2, ramp, stable, sorcery speed. Again, it's a very good strength for dinosaurs to be able to do that. I don't know how many copies I have of Thunderherd Migration. I'd probably estimate about 20, maybe 20 at this point. Something like that. Underneath, the cheap Draconic Destiny. Now, I have thought about this. I want to mention about Draconic Destiny because I keep reading that Mono Green Devotion, Pioneer, Explorer, wherever it is. They kind of fold to creatures with flying. They do have Cavalier of Thorns, which has reach, but other than that, none of their stuff has reach. So, we could give our big scary dino some big scary dino flying with this. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has flying and haste. So that is kind of nice to increase the aggression. Maybe slap Draconic Destiny on Carnage Tyrant, which does not have haste. Boom. We've got a 8/7 flying, haste, trample, can't be countered, hexproof. Oh, if it wasn't scary already, it would be scarier with this. And that would be a pretty fast clock. Whether or not we could pump it that turn is another question. But the following turn, we can pay 1 as many times as we want, as much mana as we have. This creature gets +1/+0. So that Carnage Tyrant being 8 power, we could make it 14, 13. You get the idea. But when the enchanted creature dies, we return Draconic Destiny to our hand. So it kind of turns this fantastic enchantment into an equipment, in a sense. We lose the creature, but we still get the thing that was attached to the creature, which normally doesn't happen with an enchantment. Similar to Rancor, for any of you guys that know Rancor, the cheap enchantment for a single green that gives a creature +2/+0 and trample, returns itself to its hand. That's kind of what got me on this. And the flying, evasion. I'm going to explore Draconic Destiny a little bit. I think it could get me the win. It could be the right thing, something to help shore up and give us a chance against Mono Green Devotion. And this is dirt cheap in paper, so definitely look to pick it up. Maybe extended art. You can imagine the extended art of this would be lovely, but Dragon Dinos, just because it does add that dragon type to it. Ugh. Dragons are scary, dinos are scary, but combine the two and you've got the right package to do the job. Scary. Tyrannix Rex is already scary enough. Ooh, yikes. But the next package, oh, what's it going to be? I really should have labeled things better than I have already. I'll get better at it one day. Okay, this is an interesting random pile of stuff. Card Kingdom. Sometimes when you order from them, they give you tokens. Right around when Throne of Eldraine was released, they were making a lot of food tokens, so I ordered from Card Kingdom a couple times, and I got these nice cute cat food tokens, which is pretty cool. Definitely wish that more dinos had reach, 100%. The T-Rex eating birds from the sky, and I mean, we got to mention Apex Predator from some commander set. It's not legal in normal 60 card, but Apex Predator, big dino, the art for Apex Predator, its neck is like way above the trees, way above all the other dinos, and it still doesn't have reach. It's kind of a flavor fail, I guess you could say. It's very funny. Some of the dinos, the Brontosauruses or the Brontosaurus inspired dinos with those long necks, you would assume they probably should have reach. Yeah, maybe if a lot more dinos had reach, they'd be even more overpowered. Certainly it would be nice against mono blue spirits in, Pioneer, Explorer, wherever it is. That would give us a good chance for sure. Reach would have been broken, 100%. It is a must, and it is nice that Shifting Ceratops temporarily can have reach. This is some of my Pioneer stuff. When Pioneer was released, before Arena was released, yeah, there was a little bit of a window there when it was just Pioneer. The there's a format that dinos can do a little bit better in compared to modern. Then Arena came out and it was all over after that. But the check lands, the basic check lands, had to get my playsets of them just in case. I love this. Don't use it a whole lot. Of course, eventually it will be legal in Arena at some point. When that is, who knows. But just because it is the typing that can help Rootbound Craig enter the battlefield untapped, that sort of thing. But it enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or more basic lands. That is not a problem. Definitely not a problem with Topiary Stomper now and Thunderherd Migration. You combine those two, maybe you have 8 lands, 8 basic lands in a list. There's a very good chance you're going to be meeting the requirement of having at least 2. Should be super easy. You got to figure, maybe you draw simply 2 basic lands. You only have to see 1 basic plus the Topiary or the Thunderherd Migration, and bam, you got this untapped dual land. Lovely, lovely stuff. And I love the art as well. The Expedition version of this is pretty fantastic, but I don't really want to shell out money for it. I don't need it. I already have the regular version of this, so I'll definitely be looking to use it. Maybe I don't need it, but again, when you have 8 things in a list that grab a basic land, you got to imagine it's going to be consistent to meet that requirement. Another canopy off if I go in modern, but hopefully they reprint it from the OG Ravnica block way back when. Skarg, the Rage Pits. Ooh, dinos are scary. That name for a land is scary. I've always loved this though. You know, colorless, not so bad, but the utility of this to make a dino even scarier, something that doesn't have trample. For a red and a green, tap it. Target creature gets +1/+1 and trample. Boom. Lovely. Just make something bigger, make it trample. Maybe late game you don't have anything. You can make use of maybe some extra mana plus this land. Get through a bunch of damage. Rotting Regisaur, of course, if you're playing Jund. Yeah, make it 8/7 trample. Beautiful, beautiful stuff right there. And it's not a legendary, so you could potentially, you know, use multiple copies in a list. Oh, I remember using this back in high school. Man, that brings back the memories. What else have we got in here? Oh boy. Yes, I was hoping to get to this. I knew we would get to this at some point. The Unlimited, again, because it is the white border there. Pretty sure. Hard to say. One of the first basic lands from one of the first sets. I just love this. Hard to read plains. Nostalgia. Beautiful. I don't have too many copies of this. I don't have enough for most lists that I use. But if, you know, I go into Naya Dinos, something like that, usually I only want 1 or 2 planes. So it would be pretty cool to add this vintage version of it. I mean, look at that. Oh, that's cool. That is pretty sweet. And we got to get to one of the OG Forest, again from one of the first sets. Leaves a little bit to be desired, but it's just cool to look at the history because this specific card is just so old. It's neat to consider. Trying to find, I'm pretty sure I have a beta mountain. Not entirely sure. I'm pretty sure this is an Unlimited Forest, so from the 3rd set. But for whatever reason, I suspect this might be... Actually, no. Everything was Blackbird. These are all Unlimited. What am I saying? I did the research before, but I forgot. I had a brain fart. Yeah, just something about it. These lands being so old. I might get some more copies of this. Use these as my go-to basic lands for my dinosaur lists. That would be pretty neat. Oh, this is a... Again, you just never know. Under those basic lands, we got to talk about Nahiri's machinations. 1 and a white at the beginning of combat on your turn. Target creature you control gains indestructible until end of turn. Boom. That's lovely right there. Give indestructible whenever you're attacking with some dino. Maybe the opponent has something with death touch. It doesn't matter, because that big scary thing can't be killed temporarily each turn. It's pretty nice. It's kind of like an equipment that gives indestructible, but it's not attached to anything. You don't have to pay to equip it. You just always give indestructible to the best thing. But enraged dinos, Nahiri's machinations, most people would assume they wouldn't want to be using the ability of 1 red, 1 and a red. Nahiri's machinations deals 1 damage to target blocking creature. I mean, most often that's going to be to the opponent's creature that is blocking, but say it's on the opponent's turn, they're attacking you, you block with Ripjaw Raptor, boom. If Ripjaw Raptor is going to die from whatever it's blocking, you might as well make use of it before you go to damage and everything is settled. But just before you go to damage, pay as much as you can for this ability and ping your own Ripjaw Raptor. It's kind of interesting use for that, but for 1 and a red, you draw a card, do it multiple times until, of course, maybe Ripjaw Raptor gets down to 1 toughness. You still want it to survive, and well, I guess you could kill it off after you've locked in blockers, as long as the opposing creature doesn't have trample. But if you can kill it, of course, that's going to be nice. But yeah, use it on your own creatures that are blocking, gain a bit of extra value, make something indestructible. And of course it gets better. Maybe you want multiple out to give multiple creatures indestructible each of your combats. Yeah, a nice alternate use of Nahiri's machinations. Again, a pretty cheap card pickup. Would be interesting. What else? Nothing else in that mini pile, but I got some good stuff coming up, I know. Nope, I have a sneaky suspicion, that Castle Garenbrig might be coming up. There's a lot of stuff I wish I was sleeving. Skyclave Relic. I've been loving this off and on. I've used it. 3 for an indestructible artifact that taps for a man of any color. Fix is durable because of indestructible, but if you get enough mana, you can kick it for 3 to make 2 more copies. So that's a lot of hard to interact with, hard to get rid of fixing and ramp. So I thought, hey, it's pretty cheap. Might as well pick up my play set of this. Yeah. On the off chance I use it, but I haven't used it a whole lot. Oh my goodness, you guys are in for a real treat with this next card. Again, because I was playing back in the original Kamigawa when we first went there. OG Samurai, the OG of OG legendary samurai creatures. A lot of you guys may not have seen this, but you may remember Takeno, Samurai General. It would be nice to turn dinosaurs into samurai to make use of this. Costly for 5 and a white for a 3/3. Bushido 2. Whenever this blocks or becomes blocked, it gets +2/+2. So, sometimes it'll be a 5/5. But each other samurai you control gets +1/+1 for each point of Bushido it has. So they get bigger, and then sometimes they'll get temporarily bigger. It's kind of cool. I always loved the thought of samurai, but hit or miss. But again, it would be nice to make samurai dinos somehow. Probably would not be super good, but it would be funny nonetheless. Can make a lot of wacky combinations. Reflections of Litjara. It's 4 and a blue enchantment. We choose dinosaur. Whenever we cast a dinosaur, we copy that spell. Enough said. multiple Regis or Alphas, you get the idea. I still haven't done a lot, really anything with Reflections of Littjara, but boom, extra value, extra scary dinos. I really should do something with this at some point. I will. There's lots of potential with dinos. It does keep me busy. Samurai, old school cards, 100%. You said it. Super old school. Yeah, I think all those are near mint. Lately played, it was dirt cheap. It was like 50 cents. I feel like it was 50 cents, but just for the nostalgia factor, even though you probably wouldn't use 4 copies, that guy brings back the good memories. I did play Samurai Tribal way back in the olden days, and it was pretty fun. One of the first decks I played, but again, it was Snake Tribal that really got me into it. What else we got in here? Nothing too interesting. Let me see. Oh, I gotta show off the thing. I'm happy that they reprinted Muraganda petroglyphs, originally printed in Time Spiral. Oh, this is the thing that gets me most excited. Well, I mean, we're revisiting Ixalan, so we'll get more dinos, but Muraganda is a plane, the prehistoric plane. Ixalan is like conquerors, conquistadors, that sort of thing, but this is like actual prehistoric cavemen plane, and that means dinos. There are a lot of dinos on this, and this card was actually pretty expensive before it was reprinted in Time Spiral Remastered. But creatures with no abilities get +2/+2. If and when we do revisit Muraganda again to get more dinos, I think I did remember them mentioning they'll move away from Vanilla Matters stuff, just because, well, it can be hit or miss. But, you know, there are some nice dinos. Gigantosaurus, of course, costing 5 green mana, is just a 10/10. Makes use of Muraganda petroglyphs, making it a 12/12 for 5. I mean, that's pretty neat. I think there's some very interesting potential with this card. Maybe one day I'll make vanilla dinos. Colossal Dreadmaw, of course, with trample, doesn't get this effect. It probably wouldn't be good, but it would be very funny. Yeah, we'll go there one day. I think it's coming up. The next couple years, we're going to be getting a lot of dinos from this plane right here. That's for sure. Got a lot of interesting cards in this pile. Oh, Obelisk of Earth. And that is legal in Pioneer. Yes. Oh my goodness. Got a lot of copies of Obelisk of Earth just because I love the potential of it. But 6 Convoke creatures can help cast this. For each creature we tap, it costs 1 less. Lovely stuff. Dinos, oftentimes we have plenty of them. But creatures you control of the chosen type get +2/+2. Boom. Maybe we tap 3 creatures to play this for 3, and we give all dinos. That's a lovely buff. I'm very excited to, one day use this on Arena. It's going to happen. I'm pretty sure it was printed in M15 or M14. Either one. It's legal in Pioneer. I'm quite certain. And I love tribal decks. Played in any tribal deck because it is an artifact, colorless. Keep it in mind. If you have enough of that specific tribal, maybe, you're kind of splashing around a bunch of different creatures, so Obelisk of Earth might not make as much sense, but I love playing as many dinos as possible. So something like this, fantastic option. Yeah, it's pretty much all Obelisk of Earths. Yeah, nothing much after that. Okay, we'll get there. Again, hopefully I have Castle Garenbrig somewhere. It's gotta be somewhere, my goodness. Oh, I don't know if we've seen this card before. No, we've seen Huntmaster enough. Like I was saying, I got pockets of all kinds of things. Oh. It was mentioned about Primal Might. We found the Primal Might pocket. Yes. It was dirt cheap. It's still dirt. Any rare dinos? Some rare dinos. I mean, this is rare. And it features a dino, Galta specifically. But I knew I had a pocket of Primal Mights, 20. I'm going to say 20. But it was dirt cheap, and it's versatile, and it's lovely art. They're not foil, but man, that is just stunning. I think I have a foil copy. Hopefully we'll see it at some point. Yeah, there it is. The Primal Might pocket. Lovely stuff. And there is some pretty rare versions of dinos that I have. Actually, for some of you that didn't see it, the rarest dino that I have. Oh, this is special stuff, I must say. Some of you guys saw this from the last stream where I showed off some of my dinosaur cards, mostly dinosaur cards, but the Judge promo alternate art. Oh, Primal Might is nice. Yes, indeed. But I think this is also pretty nice. The alternate art Judge promo from 2021, something like that. Man, definitely that is something you put in a top loader. Perfect fit sleeve, normal sleeve plus the top loader. Three layers of card protection. Usually whenever I sell a card, that's how I ship it, just to keep it as safe as possible. 100%. This would be a fantastic playmat. Yeah. When I do Commander, I think I will have to use this Zakama, this version of it, because that would be pretty cool to show off. Lovely stuff. But yeah, let's get. Well, we're past the Primal Might pocket. Okay. Well, what else do we got? And we've seen all those dinos. A lot of... we got a little Regisaur Alpha pocket right there. Probably about 10 or 12 of them. Makes sense. It's fantastic. Single Marauding Raptor. Drover of the Mighty. Deathgorge Scavenger. What else we got? We got 2 pockets of Regisaur Alphas. I gotta say that's about 20... It's probably 20 Regisaur Alphas. I don't know why they're split. That's what I said. I'm bad at organizing, and I mean, you can see it right there, sadly. Okay, Icon of Ancestry. That is something we haven't seen quite yet. Choose a creature type. Creatures you control get +1/+1. Fantastic, similar to Obelisk of Urge. +2/+2 is nice, but this increases the chance. It lets us dig, pay 3, tap, look at the top 3 cards. We can choose a dino from those top 3. So it's just making use of mana. Maybe at the end of the opponent's turn we dig for some big heavy hitter, some scary dino, something like that. Definitely makes sense if you play tribal stuff. Icon of Ancestry. Pick up 4 playsets. Not 4 playsets. 4 copies. Because you want as much as possible. The more the merrier with this, because it is an Anthem effect. Might as well stack them as often as you can. What else? We got our first non-English card. I have actually quite a few copies of dinosaurs non-English, but this is Raptor Raminki. I forget what this is. I feel like it's German. German has the funniest translations, so usually most of them are German. But yes, it's not Ranging Raptors anymore. It is Raptor Ramingi. I'm pretty sure I'm butchering that, but it just sounds funny. I picked the funniest German named dinos. Raptoromingi. Use it. It's a Criatura Dinosaura. Okay, that feels like it's Spanish. That makes me suspect this is Spanish. Okay. Scary stuff. Raptoromingi. Get some. Yeah, there should be more. Oh, we got some very interesting stuff coming up. I got a, 5 miniature pocket of protein raiders. One in a blue and a green. So whenever I do dip my toe into tamer colors, I like this. Raid. If you attacked with a creature this turn, you may have Protein Raider enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield. The opponent Rakdos midrange. Think about it. Boom. We attack. We play this guy. We get our own copy of Sheoldred. I mean, we'd gain 2 life. They'd lose 2 life. The Sheoldreds would cancel each other out. We could copy something else impactful, of course, but Marauding Raptor, reduce this to only a blue and a red. Boom. Any creature. Not any creature you control. Literally any creature, which is pretty fantastic. If the opponent has invested into playing something big, we get our own copy. I think there's a lot of potential with this guy just because of that fact. Still haven't used it a whole lot, but one day we'll make some crazy copies of things. But like I was mentioning, we saw wherever it is in the stack, I mentioned the printings of the original Jumpstart are wacky and bad. Unfortunately, I got this version of Rampaging Brontodon. It still can be used. It still is near mint, I would say, but the printing of this specific one, you can see it's all like splotchy, didn't quite come out right. A lot of the ink or whatever just didn't go onto the image. But otherwise it is perfectly smooth and whatnot. It's kind of cool just because it is unique for that fact that, I don't know. Yeah. I just thought it was neat. And it's good that I do have, 4 actual copies that look as they're supposed to. Try to get a better view of that. Okay, yeah, that's kind of working out. You can see how it's just weird, missing parts of that art. Yeah. Might have to sleeve that up as well. What do we got after that? Oh, Tempered Steel. If and when I do something with artifact creatures, of course, this is lovely. 1, 2 white. Artifact creatures you control get +2/+2. Ooh, lovely. This is legal in Historic on Arena at the moment, and Tempered Steel can be very, very scary stuff indeed. You have a lot of little artifact creatures, maybe some artifact creatures that cost 0. You make them threats. That's for... Oh, misprint cards definitely are. I was over the moon that I got a misprint card that was a dino, and a pretty cool dino at that. There were a lot of misprints in that original Jumpstart, fortunately or unfortunately, so the misprints for that set specifically aren't as special, but it's just pretty cool to see what can happen. What else we got here? What is interesting? Oh yes, some more German stuff. Orso as a bear token. The 4/4 bear made by Tamer Shaman, I believe it is, from the original Cons of Tarkir. But we get to play potentially a Pedina Creatura Orso. Man, I gotta practice that. I just like the fact that it's a token, but it's not English. Watch out for the Orsos. They're going to do the trick, especially when they are 4/4s. Ooh, scary stuff. A couple copies of that. Not too many copies, but yeah. If you like bears, you'll also like Orsos. Oh, yes. Okay, yes. This is definitely getting to some of the German cards. Oh, this is lovely. There's Thrashing Brontodon, and then there is Brontodonte Devastore. I'm pretty sure this was Italian. But would you ask yourself a question? Would you rather play Thrashing Brontodon or Brontodonte Devastore? Yeah. Creatura Dinosauro. I'm going to read its text, and it's not going to sound good, but pay 1. Sacrifica il Brontodonte Devastore distruggi un afferato o un incantesimo bersaglio. Then the flavor text. Oh, it gets even better. Gli importa di più persevere il territorio del branco che se stesso. Huh. Oh yeah, no, that's probably Dinosauro. Again, yeah, that's probably Spanish. I just love saying Brontodonte. Your artifact is destroyed by Brontodonte Devastore. I take out whatever it is, but yeah, no, it's there's a lot of funny stuff. Definitely check out alternate language cards of some of your favorite things, and you can be quite surprised by what it is. Very funny, sometimes a little bit suggestive. Man, I got a lot of weird stuff in here. More Protein Raiders, so I got a lot of those things. Glass of the Guild Pact. I was thinking of making a multicolored matters list at some point, not dinosaurs, but for 2 multicolored creatures you control get +1/+1. If a list is just multicolored creatures, this has some decent potential. Of course, it would be fantastic in foil. Oh, excuse me. Fantastic in foil, I imagine, with that art. But, yeah, good potential right there. Let's see. Nothing there. Okay, the next section. From that section, it's a big section of hodgepodge. This is a really mixed up part we're in here, folks. Yeah, just some more Skyclave relics, Saber Ants. Another Rampaging Brontodon. Man, they're all over the place with this bundle. My goodness. Oh, we got more Brontodonte Devastores. I think I have more than just the playset, just because it was such an amusing translation. Spiteful. Oh, there. This might be my favorite alternate translation. Flame Sweep in German. Flammenschwall. I can't say it too loud just because I don't want to wake up my daughter, but I love this. 2 damage, instant speed to each creature. Takes out a lot of little things, of course. Reflection of Kiki Jiki. I've loved using this to take it out on the opponent's turn when that flips. Or I guess when Fable of the Mirror Breaker flips to Reflection of Kiki Jiki. This thing does the trick. Flammenschwall. Brings the pain to Rakdos mid-range. Somewhat. Man, I'll never get tired of saying I cast Flammenschwall. 2 damage to each creature. Yes, the card art is the same. It's just the names at the top will be printed in whatever respective language it is. This one, German. Definitely, certainly sounds German there. Say it to yourself loud. Flammenschwall. Mad. You're mad that the opponent played so many creatures, or maybe the opponent is going to be mad when you cast this and take out a lot of stuff for 2 damage at instant speed. But sometimes, actually, I will go back to that, depending on some regional sensitivities. If they have certain rules, certain card art, if it depicts bones, flesh, something like that. I think it's specifically in China. They do have to make alternate art that doesn't depict certain features that might be depicted in other regions of the world. But something like Flame Sweep would likely be fine, I would imagine. But I think usually it's 16 Star of Extinctions. This is all from the list version. They're all exactly the same except for this Planeswalker symbol in the bottom. But you can only open up these particular ones from set boosters. I love Star of Extinction. I have even more copies than this in foil. Yeah, wow. The ultimate flavor card for dinosaurs. Destroy target land. Deal 20 damage to each creature and each planeswalker. You got to imagine that's going to bring the pain to just about everything. Reset the board at the very least and take out something nasty. What is after that? That is a good question. Really? Oh, Kusari Gamma. Yes, definitely in foil. Certainly Star of Extinction is stunning. I mean, that meteor, lovely. This is an OG card though. This would be nice in foil. Not as nice as Star of Extinction. This would be very expensive as well. But if I go into modern, I would like to use this. Probably. Nice equipment. Equipped creature has 2. It gets +1/+0. Kind of expensive, but whenever equipped creature deals damage to a blocking creature, Kusari Gamma deals that much damage to each other creature defending player controls. So if the creature is big, I mean, well, effectively, you make the creature unblockable because the opponent probably doesn't want to lose all of their other creatures. But if they're so low, they have to block. I don't know. It makes them caught between a rock and a hard place. And it's nice that this card isn't legendary. Jam a bunch of copies in a list and make the opponent sweat, wondering, should I block and lose everything? Can I take damage? Maybe. I've held some mana back after they declare blockers, or don't. In this case, I sink some mana into this to make it bigger, to do some more damage. You get the idea. This is a fun card indeed. Lovely. Old card again from Champions of Kamigawa. Some more Tempered Steel. Man, this is probably the most mixed up section. Is oh, we got another Marauding Raptor pocket, another 20, maybe 20 or so Marauding Raptors. As always, gotta have those. Raging Sword. Oh my, yeah, 20 Raging Swordtooths from the set booster, the list version. Again, they look exactly the same. But I just, oh wait, no, that, I almost missed it. Some of those were Lamadante Furioso. Okay, that's Spanish. That is not German, I must say. But yeah, Lamadante Furioso. Yeah, oh, I know. If any of you guys want to get into dinosaurs, I could probably be persuaded to send you a full completed list, or a mostly completed list, possibly, you know, with alternate named versions of those. Who wouldn't want to play Lamadante Furioso instead of Raging Swordtooths? I think this sounds a little bit better. A lot more fun to say, that's for sure. Oh, yes, speaking of, that is good. It's like Wingardium Leviosa to make something levitate. And I mean, certainly this Raging Swordtooth made that Vampire Conquistador levitate right there. So they got some kind of similarities. These guys are looking and wondering how this dinosaur cast the spell to make this vampire fly through the air. It wasn't a spell, it was just the tail, but perhaps it happened so fast they didn't even realize what went on with Lamadante Furioso. Okay, definitely there is more alternate named cards. So, oh, I spoke too soon. I did get the playset of Nezahal printed in Commander Legends with the actual legendary border there, so I got a lot of copies of this. But yeah, you can, I will compare it. We got it right here, side by side. I think it just adds that extra little oomph, specialness to it. Yeah, usually I wouldn't probably even play the full playset of Nezahal. Might just be a couple copies if, I'm facing control. Can't be countered, but again, I have already enough dinos that can't be countered. It's a pretty big headache for certain decks. Nope. It's on my phone and I can't pick it up. Okay. It fell over the chat and I missed stuff. Almost could have missed stuff. Alright, we'll get to Castle Garenbrig. I hope I'll keep going as long as I can last, but soon I might wrap things up. Okay, I found some more of the alternate, different named. Okay, this might be my favorite. The Namenloser Grabstein. Of course, that is German. Silent Gravestone. Sounds kind of cool, menacing, but it is infinitely more satisfying to play Namenloser Grabstein. I must say, my goodness. I was happy to grab some copies of these. I only got 2 copies. There were only 2 German versions available when I was ordering them from across in Europe. Man. Oh, Namenloser Grabstein. Shuts down certain things. Creatures can't be targeted by spell. Creature cards in graveyards can't be targeted by spells or abilities. I'm pretty sure that's what it said. Check it in Scryfall, Google, whatever, but yeah, that's a much better name. You're a loser if I can use it to shut down your graveyard strategy, something like that. Very satisfying. Inscription, let's see, what do I got? Oh, Hoppletrottle. What card do you guys think Hoppletrottle is? Scuttlemutt. It's not a dinosaur. It taps for mana. I don't know. I can't read German, but I'm pretty sure, yeah. It taps for mana, or you make a land any type. But who would not want to cast Hoppletrottle? Ooh. With the Golgari decks, yes. Got a bunch of Hoppletrottles. I just love saying that. There's a lot of fun ones. Snake tokens. Okay. Got some more stuff. Actually, maybe I'll take my camera off in a second and show you guys. We're just scratching the surface. I'm going to have to do a part 2, a part 3, potentially. Trying to find the pile I didn't go through. Oh, okay. It was off camera here. I missed it. My goodness, you're going to see all these piles I have. And ugh. Okay. Haunting Voyage. Lovely. Got a play set of this. I think that's fantastic alternate art. Better than extended art because it's like true full art over the entire card. Lovely. If I ever go into Jund, of course, the tribal reanimation spell, we choose dinos. We get all dinos back, or 2 dinos, depending if this was foretold or not. But this could be the thing. Maybe Azuri's control has swept us with some painful spell. Boom. 1 hit, especially because Regis or Alpha could give all dinosaurs haste. You would imagine there's a good chance that would be lethal right there. We'd be worried about a sweeper the following turn, but if the opponent doesn't live to the following turn, because we just get to attack with everything. Whew, lovely, lovely stuff right there. And this would be good in foil. I'm pretty sure you can get it in foil. Man, that'd be sweet. Oh, Crippling Fear. Okay, yeah. Similar to choosing a creature type and also from Kaldheim. 2 and 2 black. Creatures that aren't of the chosen type get -3/-3 until end of turn. Lovely stuff. Of course, I use mostly all dinos. That's very devastating. It gets around indestructible, hexproof. We're not targeting anything. Oh man, devastating for a lot of decks. Maybe some we wouldn't want to deal damage, but you got to imagine even if a creature isn't taken out by -3 to their toughness, perhaps they have 4, leaving them at 1 toughness temporarily. We take out enough things, but we also weaken stuff. Full art. Full art for this, yes. Full art for Haunting Voyage. But, yeah. Full art here, extended art. Yeah, that's what it's called. But definitely just crippling fear. 3 damage to something, that's pretty good. But it doesn't reduce their power, which, you know, the opponent's creatures could still trade. The fact that it's -3 to the opponent creature's power and their toughness makes everything super weak. Chances are they can't trade much, if at all, because of the fact. Could be a better sweeper in a lot of cases. Yeah, I'm excited if I ever go into Jund, although 2 black for this could be a little bit restrictive, unfortunately. But definitely keep it in mind if you are in black, or you want to go into black and you are a heavy tribal deck, that is going to do the trick, I think, in a lot of cases. I'm looking forward to using it in the future. You know, I haven't moved away from Jund dinos completely. Rakdos dinos can possibly be a thing. Let's see. Trying to go a little bit faster to hopefully find that Castle Garenbrig somewhere. Not there. Okay. Trying to find another pile. Actually, I'll look through the actual deck box with all the dinosaur cards that I've sleeved up. It's pretty outdated for Pioneer. I just certainly have to update it, but it's somewhere. I'm going to take a peek quick. Alrighty. Here goes nothing. This is the list I sleeved up. Currently sleeved up technically as it sits, my Pioneer Dino list. Rootbound Craigs. I got to show you guys the Rootbound Craig thing. The same art, this particular art was used for consecutive years for Rootbound Craig. So I got one version of Rootbound Craig for each of those consecutive years, which I thought was pretty cool when I get there. Okay, yeah. There's all the Rootbound Craigs, one from M11, M10, M11, M12, and M13. That's pretty neat. Of course, I could have done it all M10s, but just that it is all in sequence, I thought was pretty neat. Actually, I could turn that a little bit. Move some of these cards out of the way. Bear with me 1 second. Don't want to knock stuff over. Alright, a little bit more room to work with. But yeah, Rootbound Craig, even though I don't use it a whole lot at the moment, of course I do use a lot of basic lands with the mountain or forest typing that do help this quite easily and quite often enter the battlefield untapped. Oh, let's see, what else do we got in this? Nothing too fancy. Okay, I do have to mention and show off the foil version of the dinosaur token. This could only be gotten from the Friday night promo. There is a lot of versions of this. It is not super duper expensive, but just the fact that there's a foil version of the token that I will be using for my particular deck. I got a lot of copies of this foil dinosaur token. Oh boy, look at that foiling right there. It accentuates, highlights the teeth. It's not just like a blanket foiling. Oh, stunning, scary. If that art wasn't scary enough, boom. I mean, teeth aren't exactly blue, but just the shininess. Oh, I could look at that forever. My goodness. But yeah, check it out. There is a foil version of a pirate, a merfolk, and a sapperling, I think. 4 different versions for the respective tribes or whatever tokens went along with that. Rainbow foil art. Oh, yes, it definitely was. Oh, hey, well, just Carnage Tyrant. I used it in this particular list way back when, and I haven't pulled this out quite some time from the deck box, just because I have mostly been playing Arena. Nothing too interesting in here. Oh, the OG Domri, of course, as we talked a little bit ago, but yeah, does so much. The power, the ramping, the counterspell protection, the fighting. That's what you want to be doing. Oh, yes, I mentioned Stomping Ground. Original art Stomping Ground. That was a little bit more expensive, for sure. Yes, definitely, I think it certainly could make a lot more money. Alternate token art. They could do a lot of things that wouldn't be too difficult to implement. People wouldn't be upset. Hey, you don't need this alternate art. It's not like you're buying a card that you can use. It's just an extra way of expression. It's not necessary. It's not needed. It's a cosmetic. Do as many cosmetics as you want. That's all right. As long as you can buy that specific cosmetic. Yeah, they would definitely make a lot of money. Your chess rating got 250 points higher. Hey, that's good stuff. Lovely. I haven't played chess in forever. I did play chess when I started learning Magic the Gathering back in high school. We had the chess club. But Magic, that got me hooked more than chess. I always thought chess was interesting, and I did have a single copy of this back then. Somebody stole my deck, my snake deck, actually. I did have to replace it, and again, just for the fact that I had a version of this, I had to buy it. I actually got the playset of this Stomping Ground. Where? Get there. Oh, there it is, yeah. Oh, look at that. The playset of OG Stomping Grounds. I think that art is just... Well, just because it was my first introduction to this Shockland, that's the best art for me, at least. But yeah, that's my sleeved list. There's nothing really special at all in that. Nothing you guys haven't seen already. And no Castle Garenbrig, sadly. My goodness, we'll get there. Maybe. Hopefully. I really am crossing my fingers. Okay, I'm going to look in a box, a small box that I suspect has the best chance of seeing that thing. The best chance yet. I've said that before, though. Lots of goodies in here. Oh, the best goodie I have, and it is not a Magic card. Some of you guys have seen this before. I showed it off in the other stream when I was showing off cards. It is a Pokemon card. It's not the Shadowless Charizard First Edition, but it is from the base set. One of the very first versions of Charizard. But yeah, you can see the shadow around, so it's not like the first printing of it, but one of the first printings. Oh, beautiful, beautiful stuff. I got that a long time ago, and then as a lot of you guys know, Pokemon exploded. Everything was more expensive, and this is basically the chase card. Most expensive card. Oh. I might get it graded. I might still get it graded. Ungraded. I mean, it's hard to say. I looked up on eBay, but I got a nice return so far. I bought it back in 2015 just for, again, the nostalgia factor. I played this game when I was a young kid before Magic the Gathering. So I just wanted, and I got the other ones as well. I just wanted a near mint version of the 3 starters, just cause posterity, show my kids when they get old enough to appreciate it. They'll see, oh, that is pretty cool. Dad, you have near mint versions of Pokemon cards. Neat. Something like that. So it's kind of for me, kind of for my kids, something like that. But yeah, going back to flexes, I think that that Charizard is a pretty good flex. It's definitely near mint. I haven't really looked at the centering and whatnot, but it seems pretty good. Maybe a little bit at the top, but I imagine it would get a decently high grade just because I'm pretty sure I bought it as a near mint. Hard to say, but yeah, maybe one day I will get it graded. But again, you just never know what you're going to see here tonight. Okay. Oh, this is a lot of interesting stuff. So this is the lovely alternate art of those apex dinosaurs. Part dinosaur, part something else. Snapdax, apex of the hunt, is a dinosaur cat nightmare. I just love this. Oh, comic book style. Now that is a scary dinosaur cat nightmare. Whew. I haven't done a whole lot with Mutate, but the fact it is a dinosaur, you got to keep in mind unclaimed territory, secluded courtyards, naming a dinosaur, tapping for a mana of any color to play a dinosaur would quite easily allow us to play this. And you drop that, scary stuff. Vadrock, of course. Whenever he mutates, you can play an instant or, well, target non-creature card. I don't have a whole lot of non-creatures at the moment, so he's not super useful. But Snapdax definitely would be quite nice. Yes, definitely having that clock mount. I imagine it would be pretty fantastic in foil. You got to think, it would kind of pop even more than it does now. Yeah, but I don't have a foil version of this. But again, just because it is a dinosaur, it makes sense to me. Yeah, just some more. Oh, this is the most special token I have. I mean, you guys saw that Charizard, but also quite unexpected. This is a rare token. Very rare. So from Shards of Alara, the original introduction, the one that added the mythic rarity way back when. Again, I was playing way back when, and I opened up a Godsire. Godsire taps to make an 8/8 beast token. And this is the token card that goes along with that. For whatever reason, maybe it was just hard to open up in packs. I'm pretty sure. But just because it is so old, likely people didn't save this token card thinking it was not very good, very valuable. But it has increased in... Oh yes, and this thing. I think I have 1 or 2 copies of this beast token. And it just looks so cool with those fangs and stuff. Kind of a little bit like a dinosaur, I guess you could say. But yeah, it's surprising. Some of the old ones. Look in your random bins, your random collections you might have at home that might not be organized. Hopefully it's more organized than me, because you can be surprised by stuff like a token card. Like I was with this. I thought, oh, I'll get some copies. Well, that's pretty expensive, but worth it, because I do have Godsire that goes along with that. What else do I got? More Star of Extinctions. I probably have about 40 Star of Extinctions, which is insane. Oh, there's another beast token. Okay, so there's at least 2. Embercleave peeking in there. Let's see, where is Castle Garenbrig? Oh, we got a pocket of shifting ceratopses, shifting ceratopsi, I guess. It was dirt cheap when I bought it. It's still pretty dirt cheap. Oh yeah, definitely some of those uncommons, big time. They are quite pricey indeed. Still nothing in that section. Oh, it's got to be here. It's got to be here. We're getting closer to Castle Garenbrig. Let's see. No. Oh, well. This is not legal stuff. This is from one of the unsets, Unfinity, I think. I feel like it's from yeah. Oh, and Unglued. I got some stuff from Unglued. Brushstroke, Painter Mage. This is from the first unset, Free Range Chicken. Scary stuff right there. Team Spirit. Yeah, just a lot of joke cards. I wasn't really sure what they were when I first bought these way back when. Not this particular unset, but going back to Unhinged here. I thought, oh, I can use them. They're funny. Came out when I was in high school, and my friends and I did have a pretty good laugh playing, well, a lot of those. Some of those are unfortunately named not so friendly to little ones, if you're watching. I won't pronounce the names of some of them because, yikes. Not so great. I don't want kids repeating the name of some of those uncards, that's for sure. Oh, we're getting somewhere. We got alternate art buy a box promo Captain's Hook from Rivals of Ixalan. I think this is some of the most fantastic alternate art for any card. It's definitely an improvement on the original Captain's Hook. Man, that is scary stuff. My goodness. But leave it there while I search through this pile for the castle. Oh, backwards, forwards. Oh boy. We're getting to one of my favorite sections. Well, forest section. A lot of forest. This is my favorite art for a forest from the original Shards of Alara again. Forest 248. If you're searching for it, type in Forest 248 Shards of Alara. That's going to give you this specific card, specific art. Something about it. I imagine in foil, of course, that would just be stunning and beautiful. I hope they reprint this maybe at some point. Extended. Oh, I would buy 20 of those. Something about it just does the trick. Could potentially be a plains. There is a lot of bright stuff, but just the perspective on all those trees and hard to beat. Hard to beat. Some more rampaging Brontodons. Star of Extinctions. Deserts. I got a lot. Oh my goodness. A lot of deserts. One of my favorite cards for dinosaurs before Pioneer existed, when it was just dinosaurs in standard or modern. I looked for lots of ways to trigger Enrage, and Desert certainly can do the trick in a wacky way. Taps for 1 colorless. Yeah, that's pretty good. Ramp a little bit, but tap it. Desert deals 1 damage to target attacking creature. Play this ability only during the end of combat step. So after damage has been dealt and all that, before you pass to the second main phase, whatever person's turn it is, ping a creature that attacked, an attacking creature. if we've attacked, of course, usually you'd never want to ping your own creatures. But again, ranging raptors, grab a basic land, Ripjaw Raptor. Maybe they're left with 1 toughness, or that final point of damage would kill it. But say ranging raptors wasn't blocked, it's sitting at its 3 toughness. You might as well tap this land for nothing. Ping ranging raptors, boom, you get a basic land. Lovely, lovely extra utility with this. But you know, you could finish off some opposing creature that attacked you, maybe a little 1/1 token. You didn't have too many creatures to block, or something tiny got through. You block some bigger stuff, you take out that creature with this. Fantastic versatility with those enraged dinos. But again, lots of copies of this, and it is fantastic in foil. This particular version from Time Shifted, the original Time Spiral. Man, oh, I love that. Beautiful, beautiful art. Something about it. Originally from Arabian Nights. Does look a little bit better, updated with a little bit brighter colors there. And I do have some Arabian Nights deserts, which hopefully we'll get to soon at some point. Hard to say what's under the deserts. Nothing too fancy. Where is that Castle Garenbrig? It's coming up. It's coming up. It must be. I'm feeling an itch. Wasn't in that box, sadly, but I'll leave that captain's hook up for you as I get to the next one somewhere. Still looking, still looking. Yeah, I just can't find Castle Garenbrig. Maybe we'll have to do round 2 of this. Hard to say, but I'll finish it off with some special stuff. I won't take them out of the sleeves, but you mentioned the alternate art Galta. There it is, the game day promo. Lovely stuff. I have the full playset. I have one copy and a list, but the full playset there. A bunch of foil, near mint, promo pack, Carnage Tyrants, Carnage Tyrants for days. Scary stuff. Oh, the next page gets even better. Well, it's hard to top that. the foil. Look at that. It's kind of hard just because there is so many layers. That's 3 layers of plastic right there protecting that thing, but you get the idea. The foil star of extinction, just increasing the brightness of that meteor. Oh, I think the foil versions of any, star of extinction are decently expensive, but definitely one I'm happy to preserve in all its glory. Other than that, just a lot of, a lot more foil versions of dinos. Death Court Scavenger in foil is stunning, absolutely, with those feathers, the crest on the back. The promo Regisaur Alpha, a bunch of those. You get the idea. This is the special dinosaur binder. But I'm looking for my Arabian Nights deserts. You guys, that is where it's at. It's hard to say what I'm most happy with, most proud of at this point. I just love having my collection. It's fantastic to go back and look at it. It's been quite some time since I have it. Okay, the next binder. That one was basically all foil dinos. The rest of them weren't anything too special, just commons and uncommons. That the foiling process looks splendid, similar to this. Whew, scary stuff. All right, I think I'll finish it off with a pretty wacky card, one that a lot of you guys, well, you saw before, but this is a near mint. Well, a couple, actually 4 near mint deserts from Time Spiral, time shifted way back when the foiling added, well, foil versions had that kind of star going across the bottom, just showcasing that they were foil. Then some Arabian Nights versions of the same card. You can see the art is quite a bit more contrasted, but yeah, I think I'll leave it at there. Gotta leave it somewhere at some point. Original stomping ground. Hopefully you guys enjoyed as much as I did. Thanks for sticking with it, watching as much as you can. If you're finishing this, I do understand if I put you to sleep. That is all good. I had a good time doing something different. But now I'm going to get some sleep. Hopefully you guys get some sleep as well. And hopefully back tomorrow night with Arena. Something like that. Hopefully I find Castle Garenbrig eventually. But again, I may not have it whatsoever. At least we saw a lot of different stuff. Yes, now you can go to bed. I do appreciate it. Pterosaurus, anybody else? Man, that was a long stream. I did not plan to do it that long. But we saw some cool things. Appreciate it. Alrighty. Yes, I released you. I released myself. I released all you guys. Have a good one, hopefully. See you soon. If not tomorrow night, the night after that. And have a good one. Peace.